So here's today's scorecard. 9 Imperial Emperors arrived at breakfast time. 6 are dead. 3 fled in different directions. 0 casualties on my side. My only injuries are some scratches and a slightly bruised ego because I couldn't catch all 3 runners. But they'll be back, with stronger forces. And the Emperor himself now knows I'm more dangerous than they thought. The clock is ticking louder than ever. But for the first time since the Holy Maidens were taken away, I felt something that wasn't just anger or desperation. I felt ready. Mom was beside Dad, crying happy tears, squeezing my hands like she was afraid I'd float away. That's my boy. 9 emperors, and they couldn't touch you. Worthy of being Timing's grandson. Dad was beaming. I'd never seen him like this. For 25 years, this man had been swallowing his rage, burying his grief, living in constant fear. And today, watching me slap around the Emperor's attack dogs from the city wall, something inside him finally broke free. He hugged me so tight, I thought my spine was going to file a complaint. I hugged him back. Didn't say a word. Just let him have this moment. Because yeah, my parents spent their whole lives hiding, running, pretending to be nobody. All because some power-hungry uncle stole Grandpa's body and ruined everything. And for what? Grandpa didn't even want the stupid throne. After about 15 minutes of emotional decompression, I gently extracted myself from Dad's iron grip and got serious. Dad, Mom, I let 3 of them escape. They will come back. With reinforcements. Their smiles faded. Reality check. Here was my problem. I was now strong enough to fight emperors. But my parents were martial kings. Mom was only yellow stage level 4. A single venerable could kill them both without breaking a sweat, let alone an emperor. I could protect myself. But if someone grabbed my parents while I was fighting, game over. I'd surrender in a heartbeat and they knew it. Dad read my mind. Because of course he did. He's been reading my worried face since I was 5. Son, you're an emperor now. We'll only slow you down. Your mother and I should leave. Take the East Wilderness Forest route to the Sunrise Empire border. 15 days of travel. We'll hide there until you're strong enough to. Absolutely not. I shut that down so fast he flinched. The East Wilderness Forest? That nightmare zone between empires where the law doesn't exist? Full of murderous spirit beasts, escaped criminals, and people so dangerous they got kicked out of an empire that tolerates murder? Dad, martial kings going through the East Wilderness is suicide. Even emperors have to be careful in there. I am not letting you and Mom walk into that meat grinder. But son, if we stay, we'll be used against you. I know. And I have a better idea. Mom wiped her tears and tried to look brave. Sweetie, we have your grandfather's maps. We know the route. We've survived worse. MOM. I said I have a plan. My fists were shaking. Not from anger at them, from anger at the situation. At my own limitations. If only they could train like I do. If only they could enter the dream world and spend 1,000 years cultivating in a single night. Wait. The dream world. The dream pearl. My heart started pounding. The 10 holy maidens remembered being I in my dreams. They talked about things we did together in the dream world. Which means the dream pearl can affect other people. It's not just a solo experience. What if I could bring my parents into the dream? If they could train for 1,000 years overnight, they'd go from martial kings to who knows how high. High enough that nobody could use them as hostages. High enough to survive. Forget the forest. I have a way to boost your cultivation. Fast, I grabbed both their arms, practically vibrating with excitement. Son, our talent is terrible, Dad said skeptically. We've been stuck at martial king for decades. It'll take centuries to reach venerable, not centuries. Trust me. They exchanged that classic parent look. Our child might be crazy, but he's also a genius, so let's just go with it. Look, and agreed. That night, Grand Hall, 3 of us sitting together. Mom and Dad had no idea what was about to happen. I closed my eyes and focused on the dream pearl floating inside my mind. Okay, little pearl buddy, I need you to connect to 2 more people. Can you do that? Nothing. I pushed spiritual energy into it. Nothing. I tried mental commands, visualizations, polite requests, angry demands. Nothing. The pearl just floated there, spinning peacefully, completely ignoring me like a cat that heard you call its name and chose violence. 30 minutes of sweating, straining, and getting nowhere. From the outside, Mom and Dad were watching me alternate between intense concentration and full-body sweating, probably thinking I was having a medical emergency. Then it hit me. Every time the dream pearl activates, I'm asleep. Not meditating. Not concentrating. Sleeping. The pearl doesn't respond to conscious commands. It activates when my mind lets go. I'd been trying to force it awake. But this thing only works when I'm unconscious. So I did the only logical thing. I stopped trying and started falling asleep. Which, by the way, is incredibly hard to do when your brain is screaming. The fate of your parents depends on this nap at maximum volume. Really great for relaxation. 10 out of 10 sleep environment. But I had to try, because if this works, my parents go from hostage material to don't mess with us. And if it doesn't, then I'm sending them into a death forest while I fight an empire alone. No pressure. Mom and Dad grabbed my hands. Son, are you okay? We're fine being weak. Just stop hurting yourself. But I couldn't answer. Because at that exact moment, my body finally gave up the fight against consciousness and did what it does best. I fell asleep. Snore. Honey. Is he snoring? Mom looked at Dad. Dad looked at Mom. 3 black lines appeared on his forehead. The universal anime symbol for, are you kidding me right now? Maybe. Fighting 9 emperors tired him out, Dad said weakly. I thought he was activating some incredible technique. He's napping. Let's just put him to bed. Whatever he was trying clearly didn't work, Dad sighed. I'll find Grandpa's wilderness maps tomorrow morning. If our son's too powerful to protect us and too stubborn to let us stay, the least we can do is get out of his way. They reached for me to carry me to bed. The instant their hands touched me, whoosh. Their eyes rolled back. Their bodies crumpled. Both of them collapsed to the floor like puppets with cut strings. Welcome to the dream world, Mom and Dad. Population, 3. It worked. Here's what happened. Right before I fell asleep, I kept hammering one thought into my subconscious. Lock onto Mom and Dad's energy. Pull them in. Lock onto Mom and Dad's energy. Pull them in. When they touched me, that sleeping command triggered and yanked their consciousness into the dream. Total accident. Complete fluke. And probably the most important discovery I've ever made. Inside the dream, my parents were kind of fuzzy, not fully aware. Like sleepwalking, but with cultivation. I dragged them to a nice spiritual energy hotspot, sat them down, and threw the supreme technique into the sky above us. Golden pages started broadcasting Tao lessons, while spiritual energy poured into all 3 of us like a river. Mom and Dad started cultivating on autopilot, their bodies absorbing energy, their meridians expanding, breakthroughs happening one after another while they were basically unconscious. Meanwhile, I was over here losing my mind with excitement. IT actually works. I can bring people in. 1,000 dream years passed. 3 real-world hours. In that time, I broke through to heavenly stage Martial Emperor. For divine abilities now. And the 4th one? A complete accident born from the weirdest inspiration. See, the entire time I was dreaming, my subconscious kept running that pull people into the dream command. 1,000 years of that thought running in the background, and my brain basically went, hey, what if we turn this into a weapon? New divine ability, heavenly illusion. If an enemy loses focus for even a second, gets distracted, flinches, blinks too long, I can yank their consciousness into a dreamlike illusion. While they're trapped inside, their real body goes completely limp. They can't move, can't fight, can't do anything until they figure out it's fake and break free. Combined with Warner's demonic sound flute that scrambles people's concentration, I could lock down almost anyone. If I'd had this ability yesterday, those 3 runners would be dead right now. Then I looked at my parents. Their energy signatures were massive. Both of them, heavenly stage martial venerables. From martial king to the peak of venerable in one nap. Actually, their progress was even faster than mine had been at that stage. Dad is the son of a guy who had the innate emperor body. Even his ordinary bloodline is secretly stacked. And Mom, she never told Dad about her background. But you don't marry an imperial prince's son by being a nobody. There's definitely something hidden there. The dream world collapsed. We woke up. Wah. Huh. Dad sat up, rubbing his head. I had the craziest dream. I was cultivating for 1,000 years. Mom yawned. Me too. I dreamed I reached heavenly stage venerable. Must be wishful thinking. IT wasn't a dream. I nearly screamed. Think. Remember. The spiritual energy, the breakthroughs, the techniques. It all happened. Dad blinked. Frowned. Closed his eyes. Then his face changed. The fog lifted. The memories clicked. He opened his eyes and released his aura. Boom. Furniture went flying. Books exploded off shelves. Wind tore through the hall like a hurricane. I barely threw up an Emperor's shield in time to save the room from total destruction. Heavenly stage venerable energy. From Dad. I asked that real? Mom gasped. Then SHE did the same thing. Boom. Another heavenly stage venerable explosion. More furniture casualties. At this rate, we'd need to rebuild the entire mansion. 2 brand new heavenly stage venerables, born from a single family nap. Outside, the city's family heads nearly had heart attacks. Is someone attacking the young lord again? 2 venerables? At the mansion? Relax. They're probably here to BG our young lord for apprenticeship. What venerable would be dumb enough to pick a fight with him? These are the same family heads who called me trash a month ago. Now they're dismissing martial venerables as beneath my notice. The personality transplant is truly remarkable. Amazing what killing 6 emperors does for your public image. But the best part? The absolute best part? No more East Wilderness Forest suicide mission. No more. We'll only hold you back. Mom and Dad are heavenly stage venerables now. That's strong enough to survive most threats, strong enough to run from anything they can't fight, and strong enough that using them as hostages just got a lot harder. And this is only session 1. If I bring them into the dream again, and again, and again, the family that naps together, slaps together. Dad literally jumped into the air. It's real. The dream was real. I'm a heavenly stage venerable. Mom was screaming with joy, hugging me, practically crushing my ribcage for the 2nd time today. Then I looked at their dantions and my heart dropped through the floor. Wait. Something's wrong. Their aura felt like heavenly venerables. But inside, their spiritual energy hadn't actually condensed into liquid. They were still technically martial kings. Check yourselves, I said. They looked down. Checked. And their faces fell. You're right. We're still kings. I punched a wall so hard it cracked. Damn it. Why? The dream cultivation only works for me. All that excitement, gone in an instant. If the dream didn't transfer real power, then my parents were still walking hostages, and the East Wilderness Death March was back on the table. Hold on, son, Dad said calmly, closing his eyes. It's not completely useless. I turned around, confused. My cultivation level is still Martial King, yes. But the knowledge, every breakthrough technique, every insight about condensing spiritual energy, 1,000 years of understanding. I remember all of it. He held out his hands and started absorbing spiritual energy from the surroundings. The air went crazy. Energy rushed toward him like a tornado, at a speed that was absolutely not normal for a martial king. It was like watching someone download a file at 1,000,000 times normal speed. My eyes went wide. I knew it, Dad grinned. With 1,000 years of cultivation experience already in my head, I can break through to venerable in 10 days in the real world. Mom tested it too, same result. Insane absorption speed. All the bottlenecks that had trapped them for decades, gone. They already knew exactly how to break through. They just had to physically do it now. I finally exhaled. Not a total failure. Not the jackpot I wanted, but infinitely better than nothing. Both of them immediately sat down and started cultivating for real. No arguments about the wilderness. No more talk about leaving. Just pure, focused grinding. And me? I didn't waste a single second either. The 3 dynasty leaders escaped 4 days ago. Their territory is tens of thousands of kilometers away. Round trip? About 7 days. Which meant I had approximately 3 days before they came back with reinforcements. 3 days. For 1,000 dream years. Day 2. I forged my 3rd exquisite heart from the 9 aperture scripture. I loaded it with the soul-stealing demonic sound technique that Warner left me before she was taken away. Now I had 4 simultaneous combat techniques at my disposal. Day 3. Heavenly Stage Level 9 Martial Emperor. Mastered the soul-stealing demonic sound to perfection. My parents? Also making ridiculous progress with their real-world cultivation using dream knowledge. Day 4. The big one. Another 1,000 dream years. I broke through to half saint. Now, becoming a martial saint is supposed to be nearly impossible. It's not about absorbing energy or understanding techniques anymore. It's about comprehending the rules of the universe, the fundamental laws that govern reality itself. There are 3 ways to do it. Survive a near-death battle and have an epiphany. Be born with a saint body or emperor body that naturally understands the rules. Or Grind. Just grind for thousands upon thousands of years until tiny fragments of understanding slowly accumulate. Guess which method I used? That's right, the nap grinding method. 4,000 years of sleep studying universal law. My supreme talent wasn't enough for a full breakthrough. I only grasped maybe 5 or 6% of the rules. But that tiny fraction was enough to push me past the threshold into half-saint territory. I even gained a saint body, a physical transformation that makes normal emperor attacks bounce off me like rainballs. Not a full saint, but not just an emperor anymore either. Somewhere in between. Like being promoted from, really scary, to, why would you even try fighting this person? Mom and Dad also leveled up massively from the dream sessions. Dad reached yellow stage level 9 Martial Emperor. Mom hit yellow stage level 5 Emperor. Both of them condensed divine abilities in the dream. They just couldn't use them in reality yet. But at Emperor level, recultivating was as easy as breathing. No more bottlenecks. Ever. When Dad sensed the faint saint level pressure radiating off me, he lost it. Son, is that saint energy? Did you become a martial saint? Ha ha, 23 years old. You're more monstrous than your grandfather's emperor body. Our family will rise again. Mom was equally hysterical. A saint? My baby is a saint? I made that. Guys, calm down, I said, waving my hands. I'm only a half-saint. I've barely grasped the surface of universal laws. Compared to a real saint, I'm still an ant looking up at an elephant. Half-saint is still incredible. Dad slapped my shoulder so hard it actually stung. The strongest person in those 3 dynasties is probably also a half-saint at best. You can handle anything they throw at you now, I nodded. But my mind was already somewhere else. Self-defense wasn't the goal anymore. That was the old plan, before I accidentally nap-trained my way into the saint tier. Hey Dad, I said, looking north toward the Heaven Xia dynasty's territory. Instead of waiting for them to come to US. What if I went and visited them? Dad froze. Then the biggest grin I've ever seen spread across his face. He started laughing. Not the desperate, broken laugh from before. This was a real laugh. Deep. Free. The laugh of a man who spent 25 years running from an empire and just realized his son was about to start running toward it. A dynasty, huh? He shook his head, still laughing. Go get M, son. So here's the updated status report. Me, half-saint. For divine abilities. For exquisite hearts. A demonic flute. An illusion technique that puts enemies to sleep. And approximately 4,000 years of combat experience crammed into a 23-year-old body. Dad, yellow stage level 9 Emperor. From, can't hold a candle to a venerable, to, could solo most sect masters in 4 nights of family nap time. Mom, yellow stage level 5 Emperor. From, please don't fight anyone, to, I'll fight everyone. The 3 dynasty punks who ran away? They think they're coming back to bully a yellow stage emperor. They have no idea what's waiting for them. But honestly, I'm not going to wait. I'm going to their house first. Knock knock. Sure, the heaven, earth, and human dynasties are the weakest dynasties in the empire. Bottom of the barrel. The participation trophy dynasties. But still dynasties. With armies, palaces, and multiple emperors. A month ago, my family was scared of a mid-tier sect elder. Now Dad was telling me to go pick a fight with a dynasty. If you can't win, just run. You're fast enough, Dad said with a cold smile. And son, that Heaven Xia Emperor used to visit your grandfather's dynasty just to humiliate him. If you get the chance, don't be polite. Got it, Dad. I shot into the sky like a missile. The Heaven Xia dynasty sat at the base of Tsanglong Mountain, a massive palace complex with walls stretching 1,000 miles. Bustling streets, countless citizens, the whole imperial package. It was impressive, I'll give them that. For a bunch of rejects. Inside the main hall, Baldy Ma Wuji was standing in line with 6 other emperors. 3 heavenly stage level 5, 2 earth stage level 5, and Baldy himself, the weakest one there, shoved to the back of the line like the runt of the litter. In front of them stood the Heaven Xia Emperor himself, Xia Tian. Purple sable coat, jeweled crown, radiating, I'm better than you, energy from every pore. Last time, Ma Wuji failed because the boy turned out to be an emperor body hiding his power, Xia Tian said coldly. I don't blame him. The other 2 dynasties lost people too, but this time I'm sending 7 of you. 3 heavenly stage level 5 emperors. 2 Earth Stage Level 5. 1 Earth Stage Level 1. If you still can't capture one boy, he let the threat hang. Everyone knew what happened to people who disappointed the Heaven Xia Emperor. The stories alone made people nauseous. We will succeed, Your Majesty. 7 emperors dropped to one knee, fists to chests. Nah, don't bother. That's a long trip. I'd feel bad making you come all the way to My place. Everyone froze. That voice came from the sky, from outside, from someone who was absolutely not supposed to be here. Who's there? 8 pairs of eyes snapped upward. Spiritual energy surged. Battle stances activated. But instead of a person, they saw a hand. A cloud-formed giant hand the size of a small mountain, descending from the heavens to crush the imperial palace. Cloud Mountain Hand. The technique I learned from the sect I destroyed. Except my version made Yun Shan's original look like a baby's pat. He's trying to destroy the palace. The sharpest emperor shouted. How dare he? Xia Tian erupted with fury. Smashing someone's palace is the ultimate disrespect. It's basically walking into their house and spitting on their dinner table. He released his heavenly stage level 9 emperor aura and shattered my cloud hand with a single sleeve swipe. Show yourself, coward. His roar echoed across the entire dynasty, scaring every civilian within 10 miles. I stepped out of the void, floating casually above their heads. So you're the Heaven Xia Emperor? Heavenly stage level 9? Not bad, I guess. Xia foam. Baldy's jaw nearly dislocated. How dare you come here? In his mind, I was still an Earth stage level 1 emperor. Dangerous, sure, but this was the Heaven Xia dynasty. For heavenly stage emperors. 2 Earth stage level 5s. This was supposed to be a death sentence for me. Xia Tian's rage instantly transformed into greed. Because he wasn't looking at an enemy. He was looking at a living, breathing emperor body. A golden ticket to the real emperor's favor. His breathing got heavy. His eyes sparkled with avarice. So you're the famous Xiaofeng. You actually came to us. How? Convenient. And you're the famous Xia Tian, I shot back. The guy who used to visit my grandfather's dynasty just to harass him? Like a dog marking territory, Dad told me to be rude. So I was being rude. Ha ha. Xia Tian laughed instead of getting angry. Defending your grandfather? How touching. Want to know how his dynasty fell? The empire's 10 great generals beat him around like a ball, kicked him back and forth for half an hour. You really should have been born 20 years earlier. You could have watched. Something inside me went ice cold. I don't know if that's true. Maybe he's lying to provoke me. Doesn't matter. He insulted my grandfather. That means he dies. Funny, I said, my voice dropping several degrees below freezing. Your dynasty is about to share the same fate. Whoosh. 8 figures vanished from the ground and reappeared around me in a perfect circle. 8 emperors. Surrounding me. Trapping me. Destroy My dynasty. Xia Tian smirked. Go ahead and try, boy. I looked at the 8 of them. Scanned the formation. Assessed the threat levels. Then I pulled out Warner's demonic flute from my spatial ring and started playing. A haunting, soul-piercing melody drifted across the battlefield. The kind of sound that crawls inside your brain and starts rearranging furniture. Sound-based attack? He didn't have that before. Baldy looked confused, then immediately warned everyone. Careful. Besides Thunder Judgment, Heaven's Execution, and Earth's Annihilation, plus his 3 supreme techniques. This kid apparently has even more tricks. Yeah, Baldy. I've been busy since you ran away. Let me show you just how busy. 8 versus 1. Last time it was 9 versus 1 and I killed 6. This time, I'm a half-saint with 4 divine abilities, 4 exquisite hearts, a soul-stealing flute, and a dream-powered illusion technique. Let's see how many of you make it home. My 3rd exquisite heart was humming inside me, powering the soul-stealing demonic sound through Warner's flute. The melody drifted across the battlefield like a lullaby composed by Satan. Baldy Mawuji was the first to crack. Weakest link, weakest mind. His eyes went glassy, his brain hit the pause button, and he just stopped. The 2 Earth stage level 5 guys next to him weren't much better. Both wobbled like they'd just spun around 50 times. I grinned. Time to debut my newest toy. My eyes flashed blood red. I blurred forward and appeared inches from all 3 of their faces. Divine ability, heavenly illusion. One look into my eyes and all 3 of them went somewhere else. I don't know what they're seeing in their personal nightmare worlds. Maybe their worst fears, maybe their tax returns. But in this world, they were standing there like three mannequins. Zero aura, zero defense, three human-shaped punching bags. A fourth divine ability? He's a heavenly stage emperor, someone screamed. Help them. Now, Xia Tian roared at his four remaining fighters. Too slow. Thunder judgment, heaven's execution, earth's annihilation, three divine abilities. Three targets, one each. Personal delivery, lightning from the sky, giant phantom sword from above, black death blades from below, all aimed at the three hypnotized emperors who couldn't even blink, let alone dodge. You're too late, I said, looking up at the five rushing toward me. Boom. The shockwave alone knocked all five of them, including the heavenly stage level 9 Heaven Xia Emperor, flying backwards several hundred meters. That's supposed to be an Earth Stage Emperor's divine ability? Those are as powerful as a heavenly stage level 9's. Xia Tian's eyes bugged out. When the dust cleared, the three Earth Stage Emperors were gone. No bodies. No true spirits. No dust. Nothing. Like they'd been Control-Alt-deleted from existence. I dusted off my hands casually. You guys are next. Don't think your tricks can save you, Xia Tian screamed. 4 heavenly stage emperors are more than enough to crush you. Everyone attack. Full power. The 4 remaining heavenly stage guys launched everything. Ghost explosions, shadow parasites, wind lightning formations, the whole catalog of horror. Xia Tian himself summoned a massive fire phoenix, a blazing, screaming bird of destruction that lit up the entire sky. Divine ability, fire dance divine sparrow, 5 divine abilities. 4 heavenly stage emperors plus 1 level 9 monster, all aimed at little old me. Here's the thing they didn't know. I have a saint body now. Emperor-level attacks are basically mosquito bites. So instead of dodging, instead of blocking, I picked up Warner's flute and kept playing, while being hit by 5 divine abilities simultaneously. I just stood there, took it all, face first, like standing in light rain. Kaboom! The explosion leveled every mountain within a kilometer, created a crater so deep you could bury a palace in it. Sky went dark, ground shook, full apocalypse mode. Xia Tian was ecstatic. We got him. 5 divine abilities at point blank. Even a heavenly stage level 9 emperor would be crippled. He was already fantasizing about all the ways he'd torture me before gifting my emperor body to the Xia emperor. He'd probably rehearsed a whole speech. Then I walked out of the crater. Not stumbled. Not crawled. Walked. Sword in one hand, flute in the other, not a single scratch on me. Impossible. The level 5 heavenly emperor next to Xia Tian nearly had a stroke. He tanked 5 divine abilities with his body. Yeah, I did. Because your attacks are emperor grade and my body is saint grade. You might as well be throwing pillows. You idiots, I said with my best villain smile. I blurred forward and appeared in front of the screaming level 5 emperor before he could finish his mental breakdown. Eyes red. Flute, still echoing in his scrambled brain. Heavenly illusion activated. His consciousness dropped into dreamland. His body went limp. One clean swing of Qingshua's sword. Head off. Dead. In front of all of them. Casual as chopping vegetables. No. How? Why can't our attacks hurt you? Another level 5 heavenly emperor, Jiang Jin, was screaming with the raw desperation of a man watching his entire worldview collapse. Let me paint this picture for everyone keeping score at home. Started with 8 emperors. 3 got flute hypnotized and dream trapped, then obliterated by triple divine abilities. 3 more got vaporized by those same abilities. 1 just got his head casually removed after I stood still and let 5 people hit me with their strongest attacks. That's 7 down. 4 left. And they're starting to realize something that Baldy should have told them from the start. This isn't a fight. This is a demonstration. Even a heavenly stage level 9 emperor can't just tank 5 divine abilities. What are you? Who said I was a heavenly stage level 9 emperor? I let a sliver of my saint pressure leak out. Just a taste. Like opening a jar and letting the smell waft over. Every face in the sky went white simultaneously. It was beautiful. Is that saint energy? Xia Tian looked like someone had told him his entire family was actually cats. Half saint, I corrected casually. Not quite the full thing. But more than enough for you guys. I checked my mental watch. I was going to play with you a bit longer, but I've got 2 more dynasties to visit today, and I don't want to be late. Let's wrap this up. Golden light shimmered across my body. Full power. No more holding back. No more testing. Left hand, Qingshua's sword. Right hand, demonic flute. The combo was disgusting. Blow flute, scramble brains, flash red eyes for heavenly illusion. Then swing cloud elephant heavenly might slash before they can wake up. Flute, daze, illusion, chop. Flute, daze, illusion, chop. Flute, daze, illusion, chop. I went through heavenly stage emperors like a lawnmower through dandelions. One tried to run, caught a thunder judgment to the back. Didn't even make it 50 meters. For heavenly stage emperors. Deleted in under a minute. Just Xia Tian left. The big boss. The heaven Xia emperor himself. Standing alone in the sky. Teeth clenched so hard I could hear them cracking from here. No, you're a half-saint. You were born 23 years ago. This is impossible. The guys I just killed figured out whether I'm a half-saint pretty quickly. Ask them. Oh wait, you can't. I'm going to kill you, I said matter-of-factly. Then I'm going to destroy your dynasty. The same way you helped destroy my grandfather's. Damn you. I should have told the emperor to wipe out your entire bloodline when I had the chance. He was foaming at the mouth. But you think this matters? The empire has warriors who could crush you like an insect. You'll never survive. You done? I literally picked my ear while he was threatening me. The universal sign for. I could not possibly care less. His face twitched. The tough guy act crumbled. Survival mode kicked in. Wait. I'll give you my entire national treasury. Everything. Take whatever you want. No thanks. I'll keep your secret. I won't tell the emperor about your power level. You can stay hidden. Not interested. Today never happened. We can pretend. Nah. His eyes went wild. He compressed his dantian to the absolute limit, burned his own life essence for speed, and bolted like a cockroach when the lights turn on. You royals really can't go 5 sentences without lying, I said, already moving. Did he seriously think I'd believe him? I won't tell the emperor, please. The emperor literally ordered this attack. Whether I kill Xia Tian or not, the emperor already knows about me. Letting this snake live would just mean one more knife aimed at my back. I chased him across the sky above his own dynasty. He zagged, I zagged faster. He burned more blood. I didn't need to. Half-saint versus emperor in a foot race isn't a race. It's a cat watching a mouse tire itself out. You can't do this. I'm the emperor's son. Kill me and you're dead too, and I'm the previous crown prince's grandson. If I don't kill you, how do I face my grandfather in the afterlife? He had no answer for that. I caught up. Heaven's execution. Earth's annihilation. 2 divine abilities at once. Just for him. Gave him the VIP treatment. He tried to fight back. Bless his heart. But emperor versus half-saint is like a house cat fighting a tiger. The outcome was never in question. Boom. Boom. The heaven Xia emperor, ruler of an entire dynasty, son of the great Xia emperor, centuries-old powerhouse, exploded. I walked over to what was left, collected his storage ring and his weapon. A gorgeous white dragon-engraved sword that was an actual top-tier Dao weapon. Not bad for a dynasty leader. Fancy sword. Then I looted all the other dead emperors. Good hauls for most of them. Except the 3 I'd vaporized with divine abilities earlier, they left literally nothing behind. Not even dust. I stared at the empty spots where they used to be and my eye twitched. That's so much wasted loot. Note to self, kill people more gently next time. Dead emperors can't drop treasure if there's no dead emperor left to drop it from. Then I raided the imperial treasury. Oh, my God. 26 emperor-grade martial techniques. 26. I've been desperate for emperor-grade techniques, and this vault had them stacked like firewood. Plus mountains of spirit treasures, a handful of Dao-grade weapons, and the real prize, dragon crystals. Downgrade ones for venerables, mid-grade for emperors, and a small stash of upper-grade ones that contain actual fragments of universal law. Those are martial saint fuel. I walked out of the treasury with 10 extra storage rings and the biggest grin of my life. Then I looked down at the dynasty below me. The palace. The walls. The symbol of everything that hurt my family. This dynasty participated in humiliating my grandfather. Sent people to cripple me. Mocked a dying man while he screamed for 3 days. Cloud mountain hand. A palm the size of a football field materialized in the sky and slammed down onto the imperial palace. Same opening move I used when I arrived. Only this time, there was nobody left to stop it. Crash. The palace collapsed. Walls shattered. Towers crumbled. 1,000 years of dynasty, flattened in a single strike. I floated above the ruins, expression blank, and looked toward the east. 2 more dynasties to go, and it wasn't even lunchtime. The palace crumbled like a sandcastle under a bowling ball. Xia Tian's giant ego statue rolled down the mountainside in pieces. Very symbolic. Very satisfying. I didn't bother with the regular citizens. They were just people living under a bad boss. Now they had no boss. Someone else would come claim this territory soon enough. Maybe the emperor would install another spoiled princeling here. Not my problem. Job done. Flew home. Mom and Dad were standing on the city wall like 2 worried parents waiting for their teenager to come home past curfew. Which, technically accurate. Except instead of sneaking out to a party, I'd gone to overthrow a dynasty. The second they saw me, they sprinted over and tackled me with hugs. Did you get him? Dad was vibrating with anticipation. Is my baby hurt? Any hidden injuries? Mom was already checking me for scratches like I was 5 years old. I told them everything. Dad's reaction to hearing Xia Tian was dead? The man literally cried happy tears. That bastard. He had it coming. Your grandfather could have crushed him like a bug, but that coward hid behind the 10 war generals and talked trash. You killed him. You killed him. Son, 25 years of bottled-up rage, pouring out in one glorious moment. Then I noticed something. Wait. Dad. Mom, you broke through to mystic stage venerable already. When you've already walked the path once, walking it again is a stroll, Dad grinned. 7 days of real-world cultivation using dream knowledge? Mystic stage venerable. From Marshall King. These 2 were speedrunning their entire cultivation career. Great. Because I brought presents. I dumped the entire Heaven Xia dynasty treasury onto the city wall. Mountains of glowing treasure. Weapons. Techniques. Crystals. The wall looked like a dragon's hoard had exploded. Dad's jaw hit the floor. You actually emptied their entire treasury. Honey, come pick weapons and techniques. Our son brought shopping. Watching my parents dig through piles of emperor-grade loot like kids on Christmas morning was honestly the happiest I'd felt in weeks. They each found perfect weapons and techniques for themselves. Dao-grade weapons, stuff meant for emperors, and they were using them as venerables. That's like a college student driving a Lamborghini. Ridiculous and wonderful. My personal inventory check, 23 Dao-grade weapons total. 26 Emperor-grade martial techniques. Piles of spirit treasures. Dragon crystals, the cultivation fuel that replaces spirit stones at higher levels. Lower grade for venerables, mid-grade for emperors, and a small stash of upper-grade ones that actually contain fragments of universal law. Those are saint-level fuel. Liquid gold. I looked at my Qingxue sword. My faithful companion, since Li Qingxue, gave it to me as a dowry. It was upgradable. It could absorb other weapons to level up. But compared to these fancy Dao weapons, it was falling behind. I had a choice. Swap to a better weapon or invest in upgrading Qingxue. Upgrading is hideously expensive. To reach Dao grade, I need to feed it at least 5 Dao weapons. That's like burning cash to heat your house. But this sword was from Qingxue. My sword maiden. The girl who got dragged away by her drunk master while trying to protect me. Sorry, budget. The sword stays. I fed it 20 Dao grade weapons. One after another. 1,000 dream years of careful absorption. Each weapon dissolving into golden light, merging with my blade. Every time one disappeared, a tiny piece of my soul died. That's 20 premium weapons gone. I could practically hear my wallet screaming. But when it was done, upper-grade Dao weapon, 10 times more powerful than before, perfectly synced with me. 0 compatibility issues. Worth every agonizing sacrifice. Then, Emperor-grade technique shopping. I picked 4 to replace my old Supreme-grade techniques in the Exquisite Hearts, Annihilation Sky Thunder, lower Emperor-grade lightning technique. Perfect for my Purple Thunder body. Purple Flame Demon Saber, mid-Emperor-grade blade technique. For when I need to go full Berserker. Bodhi's Sacred Chant, mid-Emperor-grade sound technique. Pairs with the demonic flute like peanut butter and jelly made of nightmares. Tyrant Sword 9 forms, upper Emperor-grade sword technique. Ripped straight from Xia Tian's corpse. The irony of killing him with his own technique in the future would be chef's kiss. That first night's dream session, upgrade the sword and learn the basics. Second night, master all 4 Emperor-grade techniques to perfection. 1,500 dream years. Loaded them into the Exquisite Hearts. My old Supreme-grade techniques? Retired. Replaced by the big leagues. Every single attack in my arsenal was now Emperor grade or higher. The difference in power was like upgrading from fireworks to nuclear weapons. Days 3 through 7. I threw myself entirely into understanding the rules of the universe. The key to becoming a full martial saint. My path was lightning. The purple thunder body made thunder the element I was closest to. Lightning rules are among the most violent and destructive, pure offensive power. If I could master them, my attacks would carry the weight of cosmic law itself. For 1,000 dream years. Sitting, meditating, watching lightning, being lightning, and slowly, painfully, beautifully, the rules started making sense, like a language I'd always heard but never understood, and now individual words were becoming clear. Meanwhile, Mom and Dad were dream training alongside me every night. Their progress was frankly absurd. Having already walked the path in previous dreams, each real-world cultivation session was like speed-running a game you've already beaten. So here's where we stand after 1 week. Me, half-saint, for divine abilities. 4 exquisite hearts loaded with Emperor-grade techniques. Upgraded upper-grade Tao weapon. For 1,000 additional years of rule comprehension. Getting dangerously close to full saint. Dad, progressing so fast he's basically a cultivation cheat code with a mustache. Mom, same, but scarier because she's the quiet type. Next targets. The Earth Xia dynasty and the Human Xia dynasty. The Heaven Xia Emperor thought he was the hunter. He became the loot. 2 more dynasties. 2 more treasuries. 2 more statues to smash. This is the most productive week of revenge tourism I've ever had. To crack that last 1% of lightning rules, I did something completely insane. I turned the entire dream world into a non-stop thunderstorm. For thousands of years. Imagine living inside a lightning bolt. Every second of every day, crack, boom, flash. For millennia, my neighbors would have filed noise complaints if I had neighbors. By year 3900, I didn't even feel like a person anymore. My aura was so saturated with lightning that if a high-level emperor walked past without seeing me, they'd think I was just weather, a sentient thundercloud with anger issues. I'd mastered 9 of the 10 heavenly thunders. 9. Each one a fundamental aspect of lightning's cosmic law. But the 10th, the Jade Dawn Thunder, refused to click. No matter what I tried. Hundreds of years. Nothing. Nada. Zilch. I sat there, staring at the sky like a student who'd studied everything for the final exam except the one question that showed up. If only Yue were here. I sighed, thinking about my purple thunder girl. She'd probably know. Lightning is literally her whole thing. Then I thought about someone else. Her master, Chen Zhoming. The purple thunder Holy Land master. The guy who crushed me with his aura like I was an ant. When he pressed his saint pressure onto me, I remembered something specific. My blood vessels had lit up. Tiny lightning bolts crackling inside my veins, trying to burst out. His mastery of lightning rules had resonated with the thunder already inside me. Inside. I froze. Oh my God. I've been looking in the wrong direction this entire time. For hundreds of years, I'd been studying external lightning. Watching it. Absorbing it. Trying to understand it from the outside. But the Jade Dawn Thunder isn't out there in the sky. It's in here. Inside my body. My flesh is the thundercloud. The lightning is me. I am the thunder. Every cultivation breakthrough in my life has come with some kind of dramatic realization. But this one hit different. This wasn't just understanding lightning. This was becoming lightning. I sat down and started converting my own flesh and blood into tiny thunderbolts. Not absorbing external lightning, creating it from my own body. Turning my spiritual energy into thunder judgment, thunder desolation, annihilation sky thunder, and detonating them inside my own cells. Yes, I was using my body as a furnace and my own attack techniques as fuel. I was basically performing surgery on myself with explosions. Any normal cultivator watching this would have fainted from sheer horror. The pain was, I don't have words. Imagine every nerve ending in your body being individually electrocuted while simultaneously being rebuilt from scratch. For 100 years. I didn't scream. Not once. Because I kept thinking about Mom and Dad. About the Emperor hunting us. About 10 girls waiting for me to come get them. If I cry about pain, who protects them? Either I become a saint today, or this lightning kills me. Those are the only 2 options. I screamed that at the dream sky. At the universe. at whatever cosmic force was watching. Then I ground my teeth and kept going. 1 year, 10, 50, 100. By the end, my body didn't even look human anymore. My arms, legs, torso, all transformed into crackling, jumping arcs of electricity held together by a transparent, human-shaped outline. If anyone had seen me, they'd have thought I was a lightning spirit that had gained sentience. Then, on the last day, I felt it. The 10th thunder. Jade Dawn thunder. Born not from the sky, not from the earth, but from my own blood, my own bones, my own soul. I did it. The 10th thunder. My laughter echoed across the entire dream world. 10 lightning spirits materialized in front of me, orbiting each other like planets around a sun. Spinning, merging, condensing. They fused into a single object, a fist-sized thunder heart. I reached out my hand. The thunder heart zipped toward me like an excited puppy and buried itself inside my chest. Infinite spiritual energy rushed in. Universal laws completed themselves. The thunder heart synchronized with my dantian. Golden light exploded from my body. Yellow stage level 1, Martial Saint. The entire dream world shook. The rules of the universe acknowledged me. Not as a student anymore. As a master, I floated upward, surrounded by an ocean of lightning that I controlled as easily as breathing. Every bolt, every spark, every crackle mine. All mine. I looked down at the world of endless storms I'd created and felt nothing. No excitement. No pride. Just calm. Because all this lightning, every single bolt in this infinite sky, it answered to me now. 4,000 years of being struck by lightning, exploding my own body from the inside, and screaming at thunderclouds. And it all came down to one simple truth that took me way too long to figure out. You don't master lightning by watching it. You master lightning by becoming it. Martial Saint, 23 years old. Achieved through the revolutionary training method of take naps and suffer. The emperor of the Great Xia Empire stole my grandfather's body, destroyed our dynasty, and sent his dogs to cripple me. I wonder how he'll feel when he finds out the rebel trash he's been hunting just became a saint. 2 more dynasties to smash. 10 holy maidens to rescue. 1 empire to overthrow. And I'm just getting started. Woke up from the dream. Martial Saint. The real deal. Lightning incarnate. And mom and dad. After 7,000 dream years of family nap time, they'd hit heavenly stage level 1 martial emperor. Emperor. Both of them. My parents went from, please don't hurt us, to, we could solo most sects, through the revolutionary power of sleeping with their son. That came out wrong. You know what I mean. Dad was bouncing off the walls. Son, you're a saint. Those dynasties are nothing to you now. Where are you going first? Earth Xia dynasty first, then human Xia. Nice little circle route. Be back by dinner. I said it the way you'd say, I'm popping out for groceries. Because honestly, that's basically what this was now. Grocery shopping. Except the groceries are imperial treasuries and the store is a 1,000-year-old dynasty. Martial saints exist on a completely different level. Let me break down the power structure above emperor, because it matters now. Lower grade holy lands. 1 or 2 baby saints. Basically starter kingdoms. Mid-grade holy lands. Multiple yellow stage saints. Maybe a mystic stage saint. Serious business. Upper grade holy lands. Earth stage saints. Maybe a low heavenly stage. Formed from holy land wars, absorbing weaker ones. Heavy hitters. And then, extreme grade holy lands. The Big Ten, where my girls come from. Their leaders are heavenly stage level 9 saints with hidden elders, ancient sleeping monsters, and resources accumulated over 100,000 years. Below the emperor himself, they're the absolute peak. These extreme holy lands also have a tradition. Pick the most talented boy and girl as holy son and holy maiden. Force them to marry each other, breed super babies, and raise the next generation of leaders. A eugenics program disguised as destiny. That's why the Holy Land Masters were so angry about their maidens chasing me. I wasn't just stealing their students. I was breaking their breeding program. Romantic, right? Anyway, I shot into the sky heading for the Earth Xia dynasty. Saint level speed is roughly 8 times faster than half saint. 1 day of travel. Meanwhile, at the Earth Xia dynasty, the Earth Xia emperor, Xia Di, was having the worst week of his life. Pacing his throne room, sighing every 10 seconds, not eating, not sleeping. Your Majesty, A white-haired old advisor said carefully. The rebel bloodline boy destroyed the Heaven Xia dynasty single-handedly. I believe he's reached half-saint. I know, Xia Di snapped. Heaven Xia had 5 heavenly stage emperors, and we only have 4. If he comes here, what do we do? He'd considered just abandoning the dynasty and running south. But then he imagined what the actual emperor would do to a deserter and decided getting killed by me was probably the less painful option. Perhaps we could negotiate, the old advisor suggested. Technically, we didn't participate in destroying his grandfather's dynasty. We only sent people to cripple him because of the emperor's orders. Our grudge is smaller than Heaven Xia's. Maybe we can apologize, offer some mid-grade dragon crystals. Shut up. Absolutely not. A giant muscular general named Ma Kai stomped forward, veins popping on his neck, looking like an angry bull who'd just been told to eat salad. We're a dynasty. Why should we bow to some rebel blood trash? You think he's really a half-saint? You think he destroyed Heaven Xia alone? He spat on the floor. Classy. Think about it. Heaven Xia is only 3 days away. If he's really a half-saint who destroyed them easily, why hasn't he come here yet? It's been 8 days. I'll tell you why. Because he can't. He's not actually that strong. He probably hired help to destroy Heaven Xia, and now he's too weak or too broke to come after us. This whole half-saint rebel story is fake. His record is inflated. Heaven Xia probably wasn't even destroyed by him. He was getting more and more worked up, screaming at the peace faction, calling them traitors and cowards and nation-ruining dogs. 8 days. That's why he thinks I'm not coming. Because it's been 8 whole days since I destroyed Heaven Xia. Oh, buddy, the reason it took 8 days isn't because I'm weak. It's because I spent 7 of those days dream training for 7,000 years and becoming an actual martial saint. You think I'm weaker now than when I destroyed Heaven Xia? I am incomparably stronger. I just needed a week of naps first. General Ma Kai is standing in that throne room right now, pounding his chest, calling me a fraud, convincing everyone I'm not coming. And I'm about 12 hours away, flying at 8 times the speed I had when I flattened his allies' entire dynasty. This is going to be the rudest wake-up call in the history of the Great Xia Empire. Enjoy your last night of confidence, big guy. Tomorrow, your fraud is coming to say hello. With lightning. So while I was flying toward the Earth Xia dynasty, General Ma Kai was apparently giving the performance of a lifetime in their throne room. That rebel brat is a fraud. He was screaming, spit flying everywhere. A 23-year-old half-saint? I'd sooner spit in your face than believe that. He's been gone 8 days. If he was really a half-saint who easily destroyed Heaven Xia, why hasn't he come for us? Because he can't. He's weak. He probably hired mercenaries. The old advisor, some white-haired grandpa named Elder Yin, was trying to be the voice of reason. Perhaps we should negotiate. Our grudge is smaller than Heaven Xia's. We could offer compensation. Ma Kai nearly had an aneurysm. Negotiate? With a child? You cowardly old dog. Elder Yan's face turned tomato red. You brute. We're discussing the survival of our dynasty, and you're acting like a fishwife at market. You're a disgrace to your rank. The only disgrace here is you, shaking in your boots over a teenager. Earth Xia Emperor Xia Di sat on his throne, listening to both sides, and slowly convincing himself that Ma Kai was right. Because think about it, 8 days. If I were really a half-saint, I'd have shown up in 2. 8 days of silence means I'm either weak, dead, or scared. Right? Right? Wrong. So incredibly wrong. I spent 7 of those days becoming a full martial saint. But nobody told them that. The shame of almost running away hit Xia Di like a truck. He'd been considering fleeing, abandoning his entire dynasty over a 23-year-old. How embarrassing. Attention, he bellowed. Every official in the hall snapped to attention. General Zhang, go to the human Xia dynasty immediately. Tell Emperor Xia Ren that the boy is bluffing. We combine forces, their 3 heavenly stage emperors and our 4, and we go to Star Language City together to crush him. Yes, Sir. General Zhang was thrilled. He grabbed the imperial order, bowed, spun on his heel, and marched toward the palace gates with the confidence of a man who'd just won an argument with facts and logic. His left foot crossed the threshold, and then he stopped, completely, frozen, like someone hit pause on reality. General? Why aren't you leaving? Xia Di called out, confused. And not. He. Zhang's voice came out like a mosquito's whisper. He didn't turn around. Couldn't turn around. Every muscle in his body had locked up. What do you mean not? Speak clearly. You're a general, not a shy maiden. Stop mumbling. No response. Zhang just stood there, trembling slightly, like a man who'd opened his front door and found a nuclear bomb on the welcome mat. Xiadi was furious now. Being ignored by your own general? In front of the entire court? His face went purple. He unleashed his full heavenly stage level 9 Emperor aura. Enough pressure to knock half the court officials off their feet. Some literally fell over. Zhang still didn't move. That's when Xiadi snapped. He formed a blue energy sphere in his hand, some upper emperor-grade technique called Water Dragon Star Explosion, and stormed toward the door. You dare ignore your emperor? He stepped outside. The blue sphere evaporated from his hand like morning dew. His entire body started shaking. No, impossible. You're a martial saint. Those two words echoed back into the throne room. Every official froze mid-breath. Faces went white. Eyes went wide. There I was, floating 5 steps above them, legs casually crossed like I was sitting in an invisible lawn chair, smiling warmly. My body was wrapped in crackling silver lightning that danced and jumped across my skin. Not for show, that was just what I looked like now. Part man, part thunderstorm. If you squinted, you might mistake me for a sentient lightning bolt that had learned to smile. And my saint pressure? I let it settle over both of them like a warm blanket. A warm blanket made of existential terror. What's wrong? I said cheerfully. Am I not allowed to become a martial saint, General Zhang? The man who 5 minutes ago was screaming about how I was a fraud looked like he'd swallowed his own tongue. His face was the color of old paper. His legs might as well have been made of noodles. Xiadi wasn't much better. His brain was doing the math in real time. 8 days ago, Intel said half-saint. Now, full saint. With actual rule of the universe lightning wrapped around him like a jacket. I could see the exact moment regret hit him. His face went through grief, denial, bargaining, and acceptance in about 2 seconds. The man who'd been about to launch a joint military operation to crush me was now standing in his own doorway, looking at me like a mouse looks at a hawk. But 8 days ago you were half-saint? Yeah, I had a productive week. 7,000 years of dream training condensed into the most casual understatement of all time. Elder Yan, somewhere inside the palace, was probably feeling the most vindicated a man has ever felt in the history of vindication. I told you we should negotiate has never been more appropriate. And General Makai, the big tough guy who called me a fraud, who said I was bluffing, who was so confident that he spat on the floor and screamed about how a 23-year-old couldn't possibly be dangerous. I really hoped he was still in the building, because I had some thunder that wanted to say hello. I floated there, legs crossed, watching the Earth Xia dynasty implode from the inside, without me lifting a single finger. Let me paint this picture properly. General Zhang, the same man who 5 minutes ago was screaming about how I was a fraud, a weakling, a yellow-haired brat, who couldn't possibly threaten them, took one look at my saint aura, and his knees hit the ground so fast they cracked the stone. Sir, Mr. Xiaofeng, sir, please spare me. I don't even know these people. I just work here. I needed the money. My family is poor. This man was a heavenly stage level 5 emperor, a general, the most feared military commander in the entire dynasty. And he was crying, snot dripping, groveling on the ground like a puppy who peed on the carpet. Xiadi's face went through about 40 emotions in 3 seconds. His most trusted general, his only general, was on his knees begging me for mercy, in front of his entire court, every official watching. Zhang Xiaohui, you traitorous dog. I gave you everything. I made you the only grand general. And this is how you repay me. Your Majesty, please stop yelling. Zhang hissed, trying to pull Xiadi away from me. He's a martial saint. Begging him is not shameful. What is shameful is getting us all killed because you won't shut up. You're telling me to shut up? Me? Your emperor. Then Elder Yan, the old advisor who'd been right about everything, came hobbling over, bowing at me like a broken bobblehead. Lord Xiaofeng, we had no idea you were coming. So sorry for the poor welcome. Please, make yourself comfortable. Yan, not you too. Xiadi was pointing at his own people like a man watching his house catch fire one room at a time. His general was kissing my feet. His wisest advisor was bowing to me. And behind them, the rest of the court was shuffling nervously, clearly deciding whose side to be on. Spoiler, it wasn't Xiadi's. Who is your master? Xiadi screamed. I am your emperor. Show some backbone. Don't you dare grovel to him. Elder Yin leaned close to Xiadi's ear. Your Majesty, I am begging you to be quiet. When he was a half-saint we couldn't beat him. He's a full saint now. Please, just stop. And that's when Xiadi broke. Not in the I surrender way. In the complete psychotic meltdown way. See, here's what I pieced together from watching this circus. Xiadi was the least favorite child of the emperor. Every other prince bullied him. The palace servants ignored him. His own mother gave up on him. He grew up invisible, worthless, a reject among rejects. When he finally got his own dynasty, even if it was the worst one in the worst location, he made it his entire identity. Everyone had to worship him. Everyone had to acknowledge him. Every word he spoke was law, because this was the one place where he mattered. And now, his general was kneeling to a stranger. His advisor was bowing to someone else. His court was abandoning him in real time. Something inside him shattered. You ungrateful dogs. I am your emperor. I'll kill all of you. Every last one. His aura exploded. Heavenly stage level 9 emperor. Everything he had. Divine ability. Great purgatory palm. Divine ability. Azure sword technique. He launched 4 divine abilities. Not at me. At his own people. I just sat there in the sky, crossing my legs, watching a dynasty self-destruct like reality TV. I hadn't done anything. I said one sentence. Am I not allowed to become a martial saint? That's IT. And this man went full nuclear on his own court. I genuinely wished I'd brought snacks. No, Your Majesty, we're trying to help you. Help the dynasty. Elder Yin screamed, desperately trying to dodge. That's a saint up there, Zhang roared back, pulling out a massive meteor hammer and blocking Xiadi's attacks. If you want to die, die alone. Don't drag us with you. Poor Elder Yin. He was just a civil official, a heavenly stage venerable. Against 4 Emperor divine abilities, he had about as much chance as a paper boat in a hurricane. Your Majesty, I'm innocent. 2 sentences. Then he was Ash, the one guy who'd been right. The one advisor who said, maybe we should negotiate. The only person in the room with a functioning brain. Dead. Killed by his own emperor. For the crime of trying to save the dynasty. I sat above it all, watching Xiadi, covered in his own tears and rage, unleashing hell on the people who'd served him for thousands of years because they dared to acknowledge that someone was stronger than him. This wasn't even a battle anymore. This was therapy gone horribly, catastrophically wrong. And I still hadn't moved from my invisible lawn chair in the sky. The remaining officials took one look at their blood-eyed, hyperventilating, psychotic emperor, who was currently murdering his own staff, and did the smartest thing any of them had ever done. They ran. Every single one. Scattering like cockroaches. Gone. TSK, 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 I said from my invisible sky chair. This Earth Xia Emperor is actually mentally ill. I wasn't even being mean. This was a clinical observation. The man was slaughtering his own court because they acknowledged that I was stronger than him. His childhood trauma was literally playing out in real time as a massacre. Rough upbringing, I'm guessing. These ministers really drew the short straw getting assigned to Captain Crazy down there. General Zhang survived the 4 divine abilities, barely. He was a heavenly stage level 5 emperor, so he could tank some punishment. But he looked like someone had put him through a washing machine full of rocks. He immediately spun around and went full groveling mode at me. Lord Xia, you see everything. This emperor is a monster. We've been oppressed for years. You know Han Xiang? The pale guy you fought before? He's my student. When he came back from failing to kill you, this psycho tortured him for 3 days in front of the entire court. Beat him half to death. My poor apprentice. We've all wanted to leave for years, but we were too scared of this lunatic. I looked down at Zhang, still blubbering. Then I looked at the rampaging emperor. Then back at Zhang. Cut the sob story. You're all the same breed of garbage. His face went blank. You think I don't know what you people did? My dad told me everything. Your emperor wiped out entire families for fun. Destroyed top-tier sects because he wanted their women. Massacred innocents on a whim. And you, his most loyal attack dog, were the first in line for every atrocity. Murder, arson, genocide. Employee of the month, every month. Zhang's blubbering stopped. His face went pale. Anyway, I yawned. I've watched enough comedy. Time to wrap this up? I pointed at Zhang and snapped my fingers. Snap. Lightning erupted from every pore of his body. thousands of tiny bolts, covering him like electric armor. Except this armor was designed to kill the person wearing it. No, Lord Xia, please forgive. Pop gone. Meet confetti. Not even a true spirit left. One finger snap. One heavenly stage emperor. Deleted. That got Xiadi's attention real quick. His blood-red eyes cleared up like someone had dumped ice water on his brain. He turned around, saw Zhang's empty smoking spot, and suddenly remembered that right, there's a martial saint floating above him. I'm the master of this dynasty. We can talk about this. Not interested. I'll give you anything from the treasury. Nope. Women. Whatever type you like. I'll send them, buddy. I have 10 top-tier holy maidens waiting to marry me. Your women offer is like trying to bribe a dragon with a ham sandwich. He couldn't kneel. His broken psychology literally wouldn't let him. Even now, facing certain death, that pathological need to be respected kept his knees locked. But his voice was shaking. His offers were getting more desperate. And his eyes, behind all that pride, were the eyes of a scared little boy who never stopped being bullied. For one brief second, I almost felt something. Then I remembered he tortured people for fun, and the feeling passed. What do you want from me? He finally screamed, completely unhinged. For you to die? That's literally it. I looked around. Bodies everywhere, most of them killed by him, not me. His own officials, his own servants. This man did half my job for me. The remaining survivors had either fled or were strong enough to escape. Good for them. Lucky day. Divine ability, thunder judgment, but not the emperor version. The saint version. The sky split open. A lightning bolt 10 times more powerful than anything I'd ever created came screaming down from the heavens, wrapped in the actual rules of the universe, carrying the weight of cosmic law. It hit Xiadi, and the palace behind him, and the palaces next to those palaces. Everything within a massive radius was swallowed by a sphere of white lightning, so bright it burned the air itself. When it cleared, there was nothing. No emperor. No palace. No dynasty. Just a crater where a madman used to live. Earth Xia dynasty, destroyed. Earth Xia emperor, very dead. I followed the usual post-massacre protocol. Loot the body, raid the treasury, fill storage rings until they're bursting. 1 hour later, I was airborne again, heading south toward the human Xia dynasty, pockets literally overflowing with treasure. 3 dynasties sent 9 emperors to cripple me. Dynasty 1, flattened. Emperor, dead. Dynasty 2, self-destructed and then flattened. Emperor, dead by lightning. Dynasty 3, next on the list. And here's the funny part. While I was flying south toward the human Xia dynasty, they had sent 3 Earth Stage Level 9 emperors flying north toward Star Language City. We were heading in opposite directions, ships passing in the night. Except one ship was carrying 3 assassins, and the other ship was a martial saint who'd just erased 2 dynasties before lunch. The human Xia emperor, Xia Ren, was apparently the petty, vindictive type. When Old Skull Grandpa came crawling back with the bad news, Xia Ren immediately sent his 3 strongest fighters to go finish the job. 9 days of travel. Almost there. 1 hour from Star Language City, where my parents, 2 freshly minted emperors, were waiting, and where I was decidedly not, because I was heading to their house instead. This was about to get very awkward for someone, and it wasn't going to be me. While I was busy turning the Earth Xia dynasty into a smoking crater and heading south toward the human Xia dynasty, something was happening back home that I didn't know about yet. And honestly, when I found out later, I was equal parts terrified and incredibly proud. See, here's the timeline that nobody coordinated. The human Xia emperor, Xia Ren, the petty vindictive one, sent his 3 best fighters towards Star Language City 4 days after the original failed mission. 3 Earth Stage Level 9 emperors. The real deal. If these guys had shown up during the first attack, I would have been dead. No question. They flew nonstop for 8 days. No sleep. No breaks. Maximum speed. But timing is a funny thing. They left before I destroyed Heaven Xia. They were already airborne when I flattened Earth Xia. They had no idea what I'd become. As far as they knew, I was still the same, Earth Stage Level 1 Emperor from the first fight. The 3 of them, Wang Xiang, Zhang Chong, and Lu Laosan, were famous as an unbeatable trio, known for being ruthlessly cautious. Never underestimate. Never give the enemy a chance. Sneak attack first. Ask questions never. When we find the kid, Wang Xiang said, already daydreaming about rewards. Lu, you trap him in an illusion. I'll break his limbs. We drag him back alive. The Emperor gets a fresh Emperor body, and we get Saint-grade weapons and techniques. They were practically drooling over their imaginary bonuses. 1 hour later, dead of night, they slipped into Star Language City like shadows, creeping toward the city lord's mansion. And this is where my mother became the MVP. Mom, Huang Xiaoqian, had been training her wind element cultivation to perfection. At Heavenly Stage Venerable, her control over air currents was absolutely surgical. She'd spent these past days mapping every air pattern in the entire city. Every breeze, every draft, every whisper of wind. She knew them all. So when 3 martial emperors try to sneak past using stealth, their emperor-level spiritual energy disturbed the airflow around the mansion like elephants tiptoeing through a library. Mom caught it instantly. Honey, 3 people just entered the city. They're heading straight for us. Dad's face went white. 3 emperors, Earth Stage Level 9, and their son, the only person who could fight them, was currently several thousand kilometers away, demolishing a completely different dynasty. What do we do? Mom was panicking. If they got captured, these people would use them as leverage against me. It was the exact scenario I'd been terrified of. Dad grabbed his head. Think. In the dream world, he was a Heavenly Stage Emperor. In reality, Heavenly Stage Venerable. The dream knowledge was all there. Every technique, every breakthrough insight. But the physical power hadn't caught up yet. The gap between Venerable and Emperor was still a canyon. Then something clicked behind Dad's eyes. I have an idea. Meanwhile, the 3 assassins finished scanning the city and found. No me. I wasn't home. Obviously. I was busy being a one-man apocalypse in a different time zone. The kid's gone. Lu Laosan spat on the ground. Little rat ran away. Doesn't matter, Wang Xiang said coldly, staring at the lit window of our mansion. His parents are still here. Grab them. The kid will come running. They crept toward the mansion, absolutely confident. 2 martial king nobodies. This would take 5 seconds. Then 2 figures rose into the air above them. Dad, standing in the moonlight, coat billowing in the wind, looking down at the 3 assassins with the coldest expression I've ever heard described on his face. Mom, beside him in a green dress, completely expressionless, as if 3 Earth Stage Level 9 emperors were beneath her notice. You 3 rats think you can threaten us? Dad said. Wang Xiang wasn't impressed. Xian Iwan, don't make this harder than it needs to be. Just come quietly. You're martial kings. What are you going to do, bleed on us? And if I say no? Dad stared them down. 3 emperor-level killers. The most dangerous hit squad in the human Xia dynasty. Professional murderers who'd never failed a mission. And my father, a Heavenly Stage Venerable with emperor knowledge trapped inside a venerable body, was standing his ground. Not running. Not begging. Not even flinching. Mom wasn't either. The woman who used to cry when I scraped my knee was floating next to Dad with a face that said, try me. I don't know what Dad's plan was yet. He said, I have an idea, and then the chapter ended. But knowing my old man, the son of an imperial crown prince, the man who survived a dynasty's destruction and raised a martial saint, whatever he was planning was either brilliant or absolutely insane. Probably both. And me? I was flying south at 8 times the speed of sound, completely unaware that the 3 deadliest assassins in the human Xia dynasty were about to find out that my parents are not the easy targets they expected. If anything happens to Mom and Dad, I will not just destroy the human Xia dynasty. I will erase it so completely that historians will argue about whether it ever existed. I wasn't there for this part. I was busy flying south at Mach Ridiculous, heading toward the human Xia dynasty to turn it into a parking lot. But when I got home later and Mom and Dad told me what happened, I nearly fell out of the sky laughing, and then nearly cried, because my parents are insane. So here's what went down. 3 Earth Stage Level 9 emperors, Wang Xiang, Zhang Chong, and Lu Laosan. The human Xia dynasty's legendary Iron Triangle hit squad snuck into Star Language City at midnight. Professional assassins. Never failed a mission. Ruthlessly cautious. The kind of guys who'd poison your soup, stab you in the shower, and set your house on fire, just to be thorough. Their plan: find me, trap me in an illusion, break my limbs, drag me back as a gift-wrapped emperor body for their boss. Small problem, I wasn't home. They scanned the entire city with spiritual energy. No Xia Feng anywhere. The rat ran. Lu Laosan spat on the ground. Whatever, Wang Xiang said. Grab the parents. The kid will come crawling back. They crept toward the mansion. 3 Earth Stage Level 9 Emperors versus 2 Martial Kings. This was going to take 5 seconds. Then my parents floated into the air above them. Dad, coat billowing in the wind like an action movie poster, staring down at 3 professional killers with the expression of a man who has absolutely nothing to lose. Mom, standing beside him in her green dress, completely expressionless, looking at 3 emperors like they were mildly inconvenient mosquitoes. You 3 rats think you can threaten us? Dad said. Wang Xiang almost laughed. You're venerables at best. Be smart and come quietly. Dad smirked. Oh, by the way, my son destroyed the Heaven Xia dynasty last week. He's on his way to destroy yours right now. Ha ha. Lu Laosan cackled. 5 heavenly stage emperors, and your brat took them all? Sure he did. Wang Xiang shook his head. Enough bluffing, old man. Tell us where your son is. Or, Biofeng. Heavenly stage level 9 emperor aura exploded from my father's body. The stone beneath Wang Xiang's feet shattered. Lu Laosan literally fell on his butt. The entire city wall vibrated like a tuning fork. An aura stronger than Wang Xiang's Earth Stage Level 9. By a lot. Wang Xiang's jaw dropped. His eyes went blank. Before he could process that, Mom hit them with her aura. Another Heavenly Stage Level 9 Emperor Blast. 2 simultaneous Emperor Pressures, both higher than anything these 3 assassins possessed. Here's the genius of Dad's plan. The Dream World gave them Emperor-level experience, techniques, and aura control, even though their physical cultivation was still at Venerable. They couldn't actually fight at Emperor level, but they could release Emperor-level pressure. The intimidation was real, even if the firepower wasn't. It was the biggest bluff in the history of bluffs. My parents were essentially 2 venerables wearing Emperor-shaped Halloween costumes made of pure concentrated audacity. And it worked. The rebel bloodline is a trap. Run, Wang Xiang screamed. He bit his finger, burned a secret technique to temporarily boost his speed, and bolted. The most cautious assassin in the dynasty didn't even look back. Lu Laosan slapped every speed talisman he owned onto his legs. Years of carefully hoarded emergency escape tools, burned in 1 panicked second, and launched himself out of the city like a bottle rocket. Zhang Chong literally exploded his own body into blood mist and reformed outside the city walls, already running. 3 of the deadliest killers in the human Xia dynasty, who had never failed a mission, who prided themselves on never being tricked. That just got scared away by 2 venerables doing jazz hands. Dad even chased them for a step, pulling out a sword and pretending to pursue. Run, you insects. Come back and I'll destroy you. They ran faster. Burn more lifespan. More secret techniques. Within 3 breaths, they were thousands of meters away, moving faster than some heavenly stage emperors. An hour later, the 3 of them regrouped, still shaking. Did you see that? Both of them were heavenly stage level 9 emperors. The rebel bloodline has been hiding their power this entire time. Zhang Chong was hyperventilating. 20 years ago, they were low-level martial kings. Lu Laosan was practically crying, not from fear, but because he'd burned all his precious speed talismans. Years of savings, gone in 3 seconds of panic. Wait, Wang Xiang said slowly. Xia Naiwen said. The Heaven Xia dynasty was destroyed, dead silence. If the parents are heavenly stage emperors, and the son is even stronger, Lu Laosan went pale. We're going to South Province. Wang Xiang decided instantly. We're not going back to the human Xia dynasty. What? We're abandoning our emperor. If Heaven Xia is gone, human Xia is next. I'm not dying for a dynasty that's already dead. We go south, find new employment, and never come within 1,000 miles of the name Xia Feng again. This rebel bloodline is terrifying. The entire northern province is about to change. Wang Xiang looked back toward Star Language City one last time, shuddered, and flew south as fast as his wings could. Carry him. And my parents? The second the 3 assassins were confirmed gone, Mom and Dad dropped out of the sky like deflated balloons, and both vomited blood on landing. Turns out, getting hit by even the passive aura of an Earth stage emperor when you're actually a venerable hurts like hell. They'd been bleeding internally the entire time they were posing, but they held it together. Not one flinch. Not one wince. They stood in the sky, leaking blood internally, and told 3 professional killers to get lost. Mom pulled out some fancy 5th-grade healing pills from the treasury loot I'd brought home. Popped them like candy. Both of them healed up in seconds. Remember when we couldn't even afford 3rd-grade pills? Mom laughed, swallowing another one. Now we're eating 5th-grade pills like they're breath mints. Dad grinned. My parents, former Marshal Kings, just bluffed 3 Earth Stage Level 9 Emperor assassins into fleeing the entire province using nothing but dream world swagger and weaponized confidence. When they told me this story later, I hugged them both so hard I think I cracked Dad's ribs again. You two are completely insane, I said. Dad just smiled. Where do you think you got it from? Dad sat down to meditate right after the assassins left. The man just bluffed 3 Earth Stage Emperors into fleeing the province using nothing but vibes. And his immediate reaction was, cool, I learned something from that. Time to train. My old man is genuinely terrifying. Mom looked toward the human Xia dynasty's direction and smiled softly. That woman was bleeding internally 5 minutes ago, and she's out here smiling like she just finished a pleasant walk. I need to have a serious conversation with my parents about their risk tolerance. After I'm done destroying dynasties. Meanwhile, at the human Xia dynasty, I was standing on the human Xia emperor's face. Literally. My foot. His face. Ground. His entire court was kneeling before me, shaking so hard the floor was vibrating. Nobody dared make eye contact. Now, you might think I went in there guns blazing. Nope. I actually gave this guy a chance. I showed up, floated down, very calm, very professional. And the first words out of Xiaoren's mouth? Rebel blood scum. How dare you come here? I'll tear you to shreds. So I released my saint aura and he went from tough guy to floor decoration in about 1 second. Where's your brain? I asked, grinding his face into the stone tiles. Did you leave it at home? Why do you think I was able to come here? Cracks spiderwebbed across the floor. His skull was only surviving because heavenly stage level 9 emperors have strong bones. Anyone weaker, and their head would have popped like a grape. Stop. The Imperial Crown Prince. He won't forgive you, rebel blood, huh? All 3 of you dynasties love that nickname. Tell me something. Before my grandpa's emperor body was stolen, what did you call our bloodline? Was it Imperial Prince's lineage? Or Battle Heaven Emperor's bloodline? I laughed coldly. Whatever. I don't care what you call us. If you want to know whether I'd dare kill you, just ask the Heaven Xia Emperor and the Earth Xia Emperor. Oh wait, you'll have to ask them in the afterlife. I pulled out the purple flame demon saber. One swing. His head rolled across the floor and stopped right in front of his kneeling officials. No dramatics. No speech. Just done. I'd killed 3 dynasty rulers in a week and a half. At this point, it was routine. I felt about as emotional as someone taking out the recycling. Looted his body. Storage ring, weapons, downgrade gear, all mine. I walked toward the treasury, passing the still kneeling court officials. You guys should probably leave. Unless you want to be here when the ceiling comes down. They scattered so fast they left after images. Half an hour later, I walked out of the treasury very happy. Enough Dao weapons to upgrade my Qingxue sword to supreme grade. Mountains of pills. Emperor-grade techniques for days. 3 dynasties' combined wealth was almost enough to rival a small holy land. Then I flew up, formed a cloud mountain hand the size of a city block, and flattened the palace. Dynasty number 3, deleted. Flew home. Hugged mom and dad. Dumped another mountain of treasure on the mansion floor. At this point, our family vault looked like a dragon's retirement fund. Then they told me about the 3 assassins. I went cold. Actually cold. Sweat on my back cold. Dad, if they had taken you instead of running, if they dragged you somewhere hidden, even as a martial saint, finding 3 stealth specialist emperors hiding in the infinite vastness of the great Xia Empire would be like finding 3 specific grains of sand on a beach. If Dad hadn't pulled off that insane bluff, I might have never seen my parents again. But I did pull it off, Dad said with a smug grin. Don't underestimate your old man. Fair point. Never again. Now, time to make our loot work for us. Among the mountains of treasure, I found 3 mid-grade dragon marrow stones. These things are insanely rare. They can generate dragon veins, underground rivers of ultra-concentrated spiritual energy that make regular spirit veins look like puddles. I took all 3 and buried them at the north, east, and west edges of Star Language City. Then I pumped them full of saint-level spiritual energy to force grow them. 2 hours later, sweating, exhausted, but triumphant, 3 mid-grade dragon veins were flowing underground. The entire city's spiritual energy concentration skyrocketed. The existing spirit veins started upgrading themselves. The air itself felt different, richer, cleaner, almost sparkling. For context, Star Language City was so pathetically low on spiritual energy that most residents could never advance past Marshal King. That was their ceiling. Born here, train here, hit King, and that's it. Thanks for playing. Now, with mid-grade dragon veins pumping energy through the ground, people with talent could potentially reach Marshal Venerable. A barrier that seemed impossible for generations just vanished. Because I buried 3 rocks and sweated for 2 hours. The city residents looked up at me floating in the sky with expressions I'd never seen directed at me before. Not fear. Not confusion. Not, isn't that the trash kid? Genuine. Worship. We're so blessed. A city lord who can change the world. I thought I'd be stuck at Marshal King forever. Now I actually have hope. Some old cultivator was literally crying. Decades of stagnation, decades of accepting that this was as good as it gets. And suddenly the sky opened up. I looked down at the city that used to mock me, the city where I got called trash at my own engagement party, the city that almost got wiped off the map 3 times in 2 weeks. And I thought, this is mine. These are MY people. This crappy little city in the middle of nowhere is where I woke up, ate dinner with my parents, and became who I am. Nobody's touching it. So to recap, 3 dynasties annihilated, 3 dragon veins installed, 1 city upgraded, 2 parents safe, and the entire northern province's power structure fundamentally altered, all because a 23-year-old kid really likes napping. But the clock's still ticking. News of 3 fallen dynasties will reach the imperial palace soon. And when the real emperor finds out what I've done, well, I'll deal with that after my next nap. That night, I did what I always do, grabbed mom and dad, fell asleep, and expected another 1,000 years of productive napping. Instead, I opened my eyes in the dream world and found a wasteland, sand everywhere, gray sky, no spiritual energy, 0. The dream pearl was hanging up there looking dim and sad, buzzing like a broken refrigerator, and it had sucked up every last drop of energy in the entire dream world. What is happening? My heart was pounding. This was my entire power system, my cultivation cheat code, my unfair advantage over literally everyone in existence. And it looked like it was dying. Bro, buddy, my GUI. You cannot do this to me right now. I just became a saint. You can't quit on me. We're a team. I was talking to a floating pearl. In a dream. While panicking. This is what my life has become. I flew up to inspect it. The pearl looked exhausted, like a light bulb running on its last watt. Spinning slowly, dimly, like a tired old ox that had been grinding grain for too long and finally decided, you know what? Nah. I reached out to touch it. Bad idea. The second my fingers made contact, whoosh, something sucked my consciousness out like a vacuum cleaner eating a sock. My vision went black. Next thing I knew, mom and dad were hovering over me with panic faces. Son, you screamed and collapsed. You were out for 30 minutes. We thought you were dying. I'm fine. Is your dream training method hurting you? Dad's eyes were sharp. That's it. No more dream world. If it's damaging your body, your mother and I will never forgive ourselves. Dad. No. I'm completely fine. I swear. On my life. Look, I held up my hand and literally made an oath gesture. I just need 30 minutes to figure out what happened. They reluctantly backed off. I sat down, closed my eyes, and dove into my mental space to check on the pearl. And there it was. Still floating. Still spinning. But different. The surface patterns were deeper, more intricate. And swirling around, it was a very familiar energy. I leaned closer. Squinted. Wait a minute. Is that my lightning rule power? It was. The dream pearl was eating my comprehension of universal law. The exact thing that made me a martial saint. The pearl was absorbing it like a midnight snack. Panic mode. Activated. For a martial saint, losing your rule comprehension is like a bird losing its wings. No rules equals no saint status. I'd get demoted back to Heavenly Stage Emperor. Everything I suffered for. The 4,000 years of being struck by lightning, turning my own body into a furnace, the 100 years of bone-grinding agony. All of it would be for nothing. Are you stealing my rules? My rules that I spent 4,000 years earning? The rules that almost killed me. The pearl didn't respond. Because it's a pearl, it just kept spinning smugly. Then, right as I was about to have a full existential crisis, the pearl shot a beam of black energy straight into my brain. My vision went blurry. My head felt like someone was inflating a balloon inside my skull. And then, information. Tons of information. Messy, fragmented, overwhelming, like trying to drink from a fire hose made of ancient knowledge. I spent half an hour just processing it all, sorting through the chaos. And when I finally understood what the pearl was trying to tell me, are you kidding me? The dream pearl was upgrading itself. It detected that I'd mastered universal law, and it was using my rule comprehension as fuel to unlock its next level. Like a video game system that auto-updates when you hit a milestone. During the upgrade period, no access to Dream World. System maintenance. Server offline. Please try again later. I literally got kicked out of my own dream because the pearl was installing a software update. I got booted for maintenance, like a player getting kicked during server reset, but then I read the patch notes, and holy mother of, upgrade complete. New features. 1. Dream duration increased from 1,000 years per sleep to 10,000 years per sleep. 10,000. 10 times longer. My previous 1,000-year naps were already broken. Now I get 10,000 years per session. That's not a cheat code anymore. That's deleting the game's difficulty settings entirely. 2. Designated companion slots. 2 people can enter the dream with me. Not random, not accidental. I can choose 2 people to bring along. Every time. 3. 50% reality feedback for companions. This is the big one. Before, mom and dad could train in the dream, but got 0 actual power transferred to reality. They only kept the knowledge and experience. Useful, but they still had to physically recultivate everything. Now, if they trained a heavenly stage emperor in the dream, they wake up with half that power automatically. Minimum Earth stage level 9 emperor. Instantly. No more bluffing assassins with fake auras. No more. We have the knowledge, but not the strength. 50% of dream power becomes real power. Kicked out? Best kick of my life. Kick me again. Kick me every week. I jumped up so fast I startled mom and dad. If the pearl upgrades every time I reach a new major realm, and each upgrade makes the dream longer, adds features, and improves feedback, then the dream pearl isn't just a cultivation tool. It's a scaling cheat that grows with me. Forever. The only downside, I can't use it during the upgrade period, which means no dream training until it's done absorbing my lightning rules. How long will that take? No idea. Could be days. Could be weeks. And in the meantime, the Emperor of the Great Xia Empire is about to find out that his rebel trash just destroyed 3 of his dynasties, and I'm sitting here without my primary training method. But honestly, I'm not even worried. Because when that pearl comes back online, I'm getting 10,000 years per nap, with mom and dad getting real power feedback. The next time I wake up from a good sleep, the entire empire should be very concerned. For now, though, I guess I'll have to train the old-fashioned way, like a peasant. The dream pearl finished eating my lightning rules like a kid finishing their vegetables, burped, and went back to spinning peacefully. Except now it looked different, deeper patterns, more mysterious energy, generally radiating. I just got an upgrade, and I know it, vibes. I jumped off the bed like it was on fire. MOM. Dad. Training time. I'm getting you to Emperor in 2 days. They looked at each other like I'd announced I was going to teach the cat algebra. Son. 2 days to Emperor? That's not. Less talking, more sitting. I dragged them both to the floor, arranged us in meditation position, and activated the dream pearl before Dad could finish his sentence. Whoosh. Dream World. Version 2.0. And oh my god, the difference. The spiritual energy was several times denser than before. The world felt more solid, more real, more alive. It was like going from standard definition to 4K Ultra HD. Dad's eyes went wide. This is your dream world? It looks completely real. There's grass, water. I can feel the breeze. Then he noticed something else. Wait, I'm conscious this time. Before it was always foggy and vague, like an actual dream. But now I can think clearly. Yep, I grinned. Upgrade perks. Where's your mother? We both looked over. Mom was sitting on the ground, eyes closed, absorbing spiritual energy on pure autopilot. Completely unconscious. just cultivating by instinct like a plant doing photosynthesis. She's fine. The upgrade only gives consciousness to 2 companions. She'll train on instinct, still effective, just slower, and the reality feedback, 50%. Whatever you achieve in here, you wake up with half the power for real. Dad's eyes literally sparkled. Even partial feedback is incredible. All right, 1,000 years. I'm going all in. I'll reach Emperor if it kills me. Can't let my own son keep embarrassing me. Ha! Dad. What? It's not 1,000 years anymore. I held up one finger. It's 10,000. Dad's laugh died in his throat. His mouth opened. Closed. Opened again. 10,000. I was already sitting down to meditate. Less gawking, more cultivating, old man. Dad stood there for another 5 seconds processing the fact that he was about to experience 10 millennia in a single night. Then his face split into the widest grin I've ever seen, and he sat down so fast he almost cracked the dream ground. First 1,000 years, done. I stood up and stretched. Dad shook the dust off himself. Literally, he'd been sitting so long dust had accumulated, and released his aura. Yellow stage level 3 Martial Emperor. 1,000 years, and he'd already blown past the Emperor barrier and climbed 3 levels. Mom was still going on autopilot beside us, her energy slowly building toward her own breakthrough. But I had a problem. My own cultivation, specifically my comprehension of universal rules, was hitting a wall. Just sitting and meditating wasn't cutting it anymore. I needed something more violent. Dad, pure meditation is too slow for rule comprehension. I need a different approach. What did you have in mind? I grinned. When thinking doesn't work, fighting does. I closed my eyes and connected with the dream pearl. The world around us started shifting. The peaceful meadow dissolved. Buildings appeared. Streets formed. Familiar streets. Star language city materialized around us. Dad looked around at the reconstructed city with growing excitement. He was starting to understand. Dad, you just became an emperor. Don't you want to test it? His eyes lit up like a kid on Christmas morning. I've rebuilt all 3 dynasties in the dream world. Heaven Xia, Earth Xia, Human Xia, all of them, complete with their emperors and armies. They're the perfect training dummies for you. And the best part? If they kill you, you respawn right here. Infinite lives. 0 consequences. Dad was vibrating with excitement. You're telling me I can go fight those dynasties myself? The same ones that helped destroy your grandfather's legacy, as many times as you want. 9,000 years of unlimited rematches. Ha! Son, I've been dreaming of this for 25 years. I'm going to personally punch every single one of their faces in. He shot off like a comet, cackling maniacally, heading toward the reconstructed Heaven Xia dynasty. My father, a man who spent 2 decades hiding in a tiny city, swallowing his rage, pretending to be nobody, was about to spend 9,000 years beating up simulated versions of everyone who ever wronged our family. This was the best gift I could ever give him. As for me, I looked northeast, toward the eastern wilderness forest, the lawless death zone between empires, filled with criminal saints, monster beasts, and everything terrible. I'd memorized the maps. I knew every dangerous city, every beast territory, every death trap, and the Dream Pearl had reconstructed all of it inside this world. Saint-level criminals who'd love to kill me? Check. Holy beast-level monsters that could rip emperors apart? Check. An infinite number of life-or-death battles to push my rule comprehension forward? Check. Meditation got me to saint. But to go further, to truly master the universal rules and push toward higher realms, I needed to fight, to bleed, to almost die, over and over, until my understanding of lightning deepened beyond what quiet contemplation could achieve. I looked at the simulated wilderness stretching out before me, 10,000 years of brutal combat waiting inside a single night's sleep. My smile turned sharp, hungry, almost feral. Dad flew south to beat up dynasty emperors with infinite respawns. I flew northeast to fight saint-level monsters and criminals until my understanding of the universe evolved. Mom sat peacefully between us, unconsciously cultivating, completely unaware that her husband and son had just turned the dream world into the most hardcore training simulator ever created. Family nap time has evolved from sleep and absorb energy to spend 10 millennia fighting wars in a pocket dimension. Normal families play board games. We wage interdimensional warfare during our naps. And honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way. While I was busy having the most productive nap in human history, fighting simulated monsters in a pocket dimension with my dad, the real world was cooking up trouble. Again, I didn't know any of this at the time, obviously. I was unconscious, dreaming about punching thunder beasts in the face for 10,000 years. But let me tell you what was happening in the imperial capital, because it's important and also infuriating. In the fanciest palace in the entire empire, the Clearheart Hall, which is the most ironic name for a place run by psychopaths, sat a skinny guy in a white coat with eagle eyes and an aura so terrifying that the two martial saints standing in front of him were literally shaking. This was Xia Naiwu, the current imperial crown prince, son of Emperor Xia Tianming, the guy with the stolen innate emperor body. Well, his dad stole it, and he inherited the benefits. My cousin, technically, if cousin means the spawn of the man who tortured my grandfather for 3 days and stole his superpowers. He was sitting there, casually shredding a 9-turn mystic jade leaf, a treasure so rare that heavenly stage level 9 saints would drool over it, tearing it apart like it was a napkin. 2 beautiful servant girls sat on his lap, frozen stiff, not daring to breathe. Because they knew, when the crown prince gets quiet, people die. So the rebel bloodline's grandson destroyed all 3 dynasties, he said, sounding almost bored. Interesting. 2 emperor bodies from the same bloodline in 2 generations. The holy maidens fighting over him makes more sense now. He tore off another piece of the jade leaf. A treasure worth more than most cities. Confetti. Father should have listened to me and killed them all back then. Instead, he wanted to follow proper protocol. And now look, we have a problem. Father is in closed cultivation. I'll handle this myself. He looked at the 2 saints with eyes that could freeze lava. You two, go deal with it. I don't want to hear the name Rebel Bloodline ever again. But Crown Prince, if we personally act, it could leave political evidence. Wrong thing to say. The saint who spoke felt death brush past his face like a cold wind. His partner tackled him to the ground, and they both started groveling. Did I say to do it yourselves? Xia Nai's eyes narrowed. I said handle it. Figure it out. Are you stupid or just suicidal? Understood. Completely understood. We'll handle it. They crawled out of the palace like their lives depended on it. Because they did. Outside, both saints were gasping for air. You almost got us killed in there, Ma Yihue hissed. You know he's insane. One bad mood, and we're both dead. I know. My mouth moved before my brain did. Okay, focus. We can't personally attack. That leaves evidence connecting back to the crown prince. We need a proxy. Someone else to do the dirty work. Ma Yihue's eyes went dark. There's a mid-grade Holy Land in Northern Province's Green City, the Dragon Elephant Holy Land. Their master is a mystic stage level 9 martial saint. Perfect puppet. The Dragon Elephant Holy Land? That's actually brilliant. They flew north at maximum speed. At the Dragon Elephant Holy Land, the sect master, a refined-looking middle-aged man, practically fell over himself when 2 envoys from the Imperial Crown Prince showed up. This guy was a mystic stage level 9 saint. A serious powerhouse. But in front of 2 yellow stage nobodies carrying the crown prince's seal, he was bowing so low his forehead nearly touched the floor. Whatever the crown prince commands, we are honored. Our entire sect is at his disposal. His elders and vice masters behind him were equally excited. Connection to the imperial family? That was the dream. They'd have sold their own grandmothers for this opportunity. One thing, Wang Ziho said, sipping premium tea that the sect master had personally served. This attack has nothing to do with us. You're doing this because of your grudge. Understand? Absolutely. In fact, that Xiafeng boy destroyed Cloud Elephant sect, right? Well, their founder tried to join our sect 400 years ago. Failed the entrance exam, but still, close enough. We'll retroactively declare him an outer disciple. So when we attack, it's because someone destroyed our disciple's sect. Nothing to do with the imperial family whatsoever. The 2 envoys and the sect master looked at each other and shared the most evil synchronized laugh I've ever had described to me. The next day, 2 streaks of light shot out of the Dragon Elephant Holy Land toward Star Language City. 2 yellow stage level 9 martial saints. Martial saints. Not emperors. Not venerables. Saints. The same tier I just barely reached. 2 of them. Coming for me. While I was sleeping. The entire northern province was buzzing with gossip. Did you hear? Dragon Elephant Holy Land is sending 2 saints to destroy some city lord's family over an outer disciple from 400 years ago. That doesn't make any sense. Other holy lands were scratching their heads. 2 saints for one kid? Over a disciple who wasn't even a real disciple? Something smelled fishier than a seafood market in July. But nobody dared question it. Because behind the Dragon Elephant Holy Land stood the shadow of the Imperial Crown Prince. And behind him stood the Emperor. And behind the Emperor? The stolen power of my grandfather's body. So let's add it all up. The Crown Prince, who is my family's stolen Emperor body, just sent 2 martial saints to kill me, using a proxy Holy Land, with a fake excuse about a fake disciple from 400 years ago. And I was asleep, in the dream world, fighting simulated monsters, completely unaware. 2 saints, heading my way, right now. My dream pearl is upgraded, but I'm in the middle of a 10,000-year training session. Mom is cultivating on autopilot. Dad is punching simulated dynasty emperors somewhere in Dream China. And in the real world, 2 killing machines are about to knock on our door. You know, just once, I'd like to finish a nap without someone trying to murder my family. Is that too much to ask? 1 uninterrupted sleep cycle? Apparently yes. Yes it is. I had no idea any of this political scheming was happening. 0 clue. I was unconscious for the whole thing, spending 10,000 dream years fighting simulated monsters and saints in the eastern wilderness until my brain was basically made of lightning. When I finally woke up, Earth Stage Level 6 Martial Saint. Let me say that again for the people in the back. Earth Stage Level 6 Martial Saint. I'd mastered 24 rules of universal law. The original lightning rule plus 23 additional purple thunder subrules. To put that in perspective, you need 1 rule for yellow stage saint, 9 for mystic stage, 19 for earth stage, and 29 for heavenly stage. I was 5 rules away from the peak of sainthood. 1 more good nap, and I'd probably get there. It had rained overnight. The air smelled like wet earth and morning dew. I stepped onto the city wall, took a deep breath, and thought, you know what? This is nice. Let me just enjoy 1 peaceful moment. Whoosh! Multiple wind blades came screaming at my head out of nowhere. 1 peaceful moment. Is that too much to ask? Can a man not breathe without someone trying to decapitate him? I flickered sideways, leaving afterimages, and dodged everything. Then I looked up at the empty sky with my coldest expression. 2 cowards hiding in the void. Come out. Heh. The kid really did become a saint. He dodged my attack. Not bad. 2 figures rippled into existence. 2 old men, both radiating yellow stage level 9 saint energy. My eyebrow went up. 2 yellow stage saints? This has the imperial capital's fingerprints all over it. I started mumbling to myself, completely ignoring them. Nearest Holy Land would be Dragon Elephant Holy Land, mid-grade. Probably got their marching orders from someone higher up. The 2 saints' faces turned red. I was literally standing in front of them, theorizing about who sent them, and treating them like background noise. Like they were weather. Like they were slightly unusual clouds that happened to be holding weapons. How dare you ignore us? One of them, the 8th Elder, exploded. You killed our outer disciple Yin Xiang. We're here for justice. Yin Xiang? Your outer disciple? I thought for a second and laughed. Since when? You guys are really reaching with that excuse. A mid-grade Holy Land sending 2 saints over an outer disciple? What's next? You'll declare my breakfast an act of war? Their faces twitched. I'd poked the exact hole in their cover story in under 5 seconds, and they knew it. You asked for this. 8th Elder vanished. Reappeared behind me faster than most people blink. His halberd swung at my neck with enough force to crack the reinforced city wall into spiderweb fractures, and I'd specifically upgraded those walls with premium sky crystals from the 3 dynasties. I didn't dodge, didn't flinch, just pulled out my Qingxue sword and casually swatted his halberd away with the flat of the blade. Like flicking a fly. Boom. The shockwave from our weapons clashing blew apart the section of wall I was standing on. Bricks and dust everywhere. If I hadn't shielded the mansion with spiritual energy, 1,000 meters of wall would have disintegrated. Impossible. 8th Elder's eyes went wide. He was a level 9 yellow stage saint. That attack wasn't full power, but it was not something a newly entered saint should be able to casually slap away. 9th Elder, help me. He might be yellow stage peak. The white-haired 9th Elder pulled out a silver spear and launched himself at me. In 1 second, he thrust that spear thousands of times. Each thrust warped space itself. The air literally couldn't keep up with his weapon. Mom and Dad were watching from above the mansion, faces cycling through 17 shades of worried. They were Earth Stage Emperor and Mystic Stage Emperor now. Real power, thanks to the dream feedback. But compared to two saints? Still ants watching gods fight. Both elders attacked simultaneously. Halberd from behind, spear from the front. Textbook pincer attack. I fought back with Qingshue's sword in my right hand, and a purple flame demon saber formed from pure spiritual energy in my left. Two weapons. Two opponents. Hundreds of exchanges in seconds. After a few hundred moves, I shot upward and looked down at them. Is this really all a yellow stage level 9 saint can do? I sighed. Actually sighed. With disappointment. This is my first time fighting real saints, and I was actually kind of excited. But you two are weaker than the simulated saints I've been fighting in my dreams. And those were just my imagination. I just told two elite Holy Land saints that my imaginary opponents were stronger than them. To their faces. What is he talking about? Eighth Elder whispered. He fought us both to a standstill. Ninth Elder swallowed hard. He might be. Mystic Stage? Mystic Stage? I heard them and laughed out loud. Sorry, boys. Wrong guess. I let my aura loose. All of it. 24 rules of universal law. Earth Stage Level 6 Martial Saint pressure. Unleashed like opening a dam. It hit them like a tsunami made of existential dread. Their faces went from, concerned, to, I need to update my will, in approximately 0.2 seconds. That's Earth Stage Saint pressure. Yeah, Earth Stage. Level 6. You brought butter knives to a nuclear test site. You were sent to kill a barely entered saint and found a monster 6 full stages above what your bosses told you to expect. Someone at Imperial Intelligence is really bad at their job. The look on their faces? The dawning horror? The, oh no, we're going to die and it's not even going to be difficult for him. Realization? Chef's kiss. I'm starting a collection of these expressions. Every single enemy who shows up thinking I'm weak and discovers I'm catastrophically strong makes the same face. I should start a scrapbook. So, I said, floating above two terrified saints, sword in one hand, flaming demon saber in the other, 24 universal laws crackling through my body like contained lightning. Shall we continue? Yep. Earth Stage, I confirmed with a smile. Impossible. Earth Stage saints are top-level powerhouses even in upper-grade Holy Lands. How can you? Whether you believe it or not isn't really my problem. I flickered forward. Qingshue's sword came up. Both of them instantly crumbled. Eyes wide. Faces gray. The full, I'm about to meet my ancestors, expression. Please don't kill us. We'll stop. And no more revenge. Yeah, funny how justice for our disciple turns into, please sir, I have a family. The second you realize you're outmatched by 6 full stages. Swords don't care about apologies. Swish. 2 heads. 2 arcs of blood. 2 yellow stage level 9 saints. Dead before their skulls hit the ground. I caught myself doing the post-battle looting on autopilot at this point. Didn't even think about it. Just walked over, grabbed their storage rings, checked their weapons, a spear and a halberd, both lower-grade saint weapons, and started calculating. Perfect timing. Qingshue's sword needs feeding. I pulled out my sword and let it float beside me. Then I tossed both saint weapons plus every remaining Tao weapon I had into a spiritual flame and melted them down into pure weapon essence. Fed it all to the Qingshue's sword. The sword literally wiggled with happiness. After weeks of being stuffed with Tao weapons and now actual saint weapons, it had started developing its own personality. Like a puppy that only eats premium steak. 1 stick of incense later, lower-grade saint weapon. Officially, my girl Qingshue's wedding gift had gone from a nice spirit weapon to a saint-class blade that could cut through dimensional barriers. I held it up and thought about Li Qingshue's face. That shy smile. Those determined eyes when she stood between me and danger. If she could see her sword now, she'd be proud. I took a deep breath, and the brief moment of warmth was replaced by cold calculation. I'm still not strong enough. Earth Stage Level 6 Saint sounds incredible. And it is incredible. But the 10 Holy Land Masters who took my girls? They're Heavenly Stage Level 9. The gap between us was still enormous. But this Dragon Elephant Holy Land just hand-delivered themselves to my doorstep. And I desperately need Saint-level materials, Saint weapons, to feed Qingxue. Saint-grade techniques to upgrade my arsenal. Saint-level cultivation resources. The Dragon Elephant Holy Land was a mid-grade holy land. They'd have all of that. I found their location map in the Dead Elders storage rings. Thanks for the directions, boys. Full speed. Purple lightning streaking across the sky. At the Dragon Elephant Holy Land, some poor outer disciple named Lu Xiaoan was doing his routine patrol, yawning, thinking about going to visit some senior sister, living his best boring life. Then he felt my aura approaching. His yawn got stuck halfway. His face went white. He later described my arrival as a purple meteor carrying a sword and a flaming saber, radiating pressure scarier than the Grand Elder. Enemy attack. He screamed into an amplification talisman so loud the entire Holy Land heard it. Meanwhile, inside the Holy Land, the sect master was giving his two imperial guests, Ma Yihui and Wang Ziho, the crown prince's errand boys, the red carpet treatment. I'm talking personal guided tour, top-tier cultivation sites, gorgeous inner disciples carrying spirit fruits and pills on silver trays, the whole five-star resort experience. Your holy land is impressive, Ma Yihui was saying, stroking his goatee like a cartoon villain, radiating condescension. Good disciple quality. I'll mention this to the crown prince. Maybe we can absorb you into the imperial bloodline faction. The sect master nearly fainted from excitement. His elders were practically vibrating. Joining the imperial faction? That would make them untouchable. Even upper-grade holy lands would have to bow. Thank you. Thank you. My lord, the sect master was holding Ma Yihui's hand with both of his, actual tears streaming down his face, pledging eternal loyalty. Ma Yihui coughed importantly, preparing to deliver some grand speech about imperial expectations. Enemy attack. Lu Xiaohan's scream cut through the entire Holy Land like a fire alarm at a spa. The sect master's face went dark. Someone was attacking his Holy Land. Now, while imperial guests were visiting. This was the most disrespectful timing in the history of disrespectful timing. 3 elders. Go deal with those idiots. Don't let them disturb our honored guests. He shooed 3 elders away like they were bouncers at a nightclub, then turned back to Ma and Wang with his best. Nothing to see here, smile. So sorry about that. Now, let me show you our Dragon Tiger Cave, our finest cultivation site. Ma and Wang shrugged. Holy Land drama. Normal stuff. Not their problem. They all walked away, chatting and laughing, completely unconcerned. Which is hilarious, because the minor disturbance heading their way was an Earth Stage Level 6 Martial Saint carrying a freshly upgraded Saint weapon and approximately 10,000 years of combat experience. Their 2 Yellow Stage Assassins, the ones they sent to kill me, were already cooling on the ground back in Star Language City. And the uninvited guest, they just sent 3 random elders to handle? That's me. With a grudge, a shopping list, and absolutely zero intention of being polite. 3 elders. To stop an Earth Stage Saint. That's like sending 3 traffic cones to stop a freight train. This was going to be fun. 5 minutes after I arrived, some disciples came sprinting toward the sect master like their pants were on fire. Sect master. The 4th, 5th, and 6th elders attacked the intruder together, but he killed all 3. What? All 3 Yellow Stage Level 9 Saints? How many attackers are there? Just one. One guy with a sword and a flaming saber. We think he's Mystic Stage. The sect master's face went through several entertaining colors. He was trying to figure out which rival Holy Land had sent someone to trash his house. On the exact day, he was entertaining imperial guests. The embarrassment was visibly eating him alive. But he couldn't leave Ma and Wang to deal with this himself. That would look weak. So he sent his Grand Elder, Mystic Stage Level 3, and the second Elder, Mystic Stage Level 1, to handle it. 2 Mystic Stage Saints should be plenty, he told his guests with a confident smile. In all of Green City, nobody has dared challenge us for centuries. Ma and Wang sipped their fancy tea, mildly curious but not concerned. Holy Land drama. Entertainment, basically. Then the same disciples came running back. Again. Same guy in front. Same crying face. Same, I'm about to deliver the worst news of your life, energy. Sect Master. The Grand Elder tried to negotiate, but the intruder sneak attacked him. Both the Grand Elder and the Second Elder are dead. The Sect Master's jaw nearly hit the floor. 5 elders down. Both Mystic Stage Saints, gone. Ma and Wang exchanged whispered messages. What did this Holy Land do to piss someone off this badly? Probably a rival mid-grade Holy Land. The attacker used a sneak attack on the Grand Elder, so he's probably Mystic Stage level 6 at most. Should we leave? Nah. I'm curious. Even if this place gets wrecked, we just flash our Imperial credentials, and whoever's attacking will back off. The sect master was sweating. He could feel his guests losing respect in real time. So he puffed out his chest and declared, "Don't worry. Our vice sect master is Mystic Stage level 8. He's already heading over. This will be resolved immediately." Wang gave him a look that screamed, "Sure it will," and went back to his tea. 3 minutes later. Same disciples. Same crying kid in front. I was starting to feel bad for this guy. Running back and forth delivering progressively worse news was clearly taking years off his life. Sect Master. The Vice Sect Master went up, and the intruder summoned lightning from the sky and turned him into charcoal. Dead silence. The Sect Master turned around slowly, face blank, brain buffering. He summoned lightning and turned the Vice Sect Master into charcoal. Yes. Nobody dares go near him now. He's coming this way. Summoning heavenly lightning with rule-level power? That's not Mystic Stage. That's not even close to Mystic Stage. That's Earth Stage. When did we offend an Earth Stage saint? The Sect Master wailed. Maybe your disciples offended someone outside, Ma suggested, now looking slightly less bored. Earth Stage saints belong to upper-grade Holy Lands. This was way above the Sect Master's pay grade. If he'd known from the start, he would have gone out on his knees to apologize. Instead, he'd sent wave after wave of increasingly important people to die, and now his entire leadership was wiped out. He looked at Ma and Wang with desperate eyes. Help, please, but Ma and Wang were gone. The two imperial envoys, the Crown Prince's personal representatives, the guys who'd been enjoying 5-star treatment and promising to recommend the Holy Land to the imperial family, had pulled out 7th grade premium speed talismans and vanished the instant I appeared. 10 seconds. That's how long it took them to go from distinguished guests to fastest humans alive. They saw my face, recognized what Earth Stage Saint pressure felt like, did the math on whether their imperial credentials would save them from someone with a grudge against the imperial family, and chose maximum speed retreat. The sect master turned around to ask for help and found 2 empty chairs and the lingering scent of cowardice. They left? I floated down from the sky, looking at the scene below me. 1 panicking sect master. 0 allies. An entire Holy Land's worth of dead leadership scattered behind me. Oh, you're a Mystic Stage level 9 saint? The level 8 guy said he was your vice sect master, so you must be the boss. He stared up at me. I could see the gears turning. I don't recognize this young man. Who is this? My Earth Stage pressure settled over him like a weighted blanket made of doom. He was struggling to breathe. Then he looked back at where Ma and Wang had been sitting, hoping for backup, and saw nothing but empty teacups. The betrayal on his face was honestly kind of sad. These guys had been promising him the world 5 minutes ago. Imperial connections, faction membership, untouchable status, and they bolted the second things got real. Welcome to Imperial politics, buddy. Everyone's your best friend until someone scarier shows up. Now, where was that treasury? The sect master's face when his 2 Imperial buddies vanished was priceless. 1 second they're sipping premium tea, promising him the world. Next second, 2 empty chairs and the faint smell of betrayal. Those your friends? I asked, nodding at the 2 streaks of light disappearing over the horizon. He didn't answer that. Instead, he went full survival mode, bowing, scraping, calling me senior, asking which disciple offended me so he could handle it personally. Cut the act. Those 2 yellow stage saints you sent to Star Language City. That was you, right? His whole body flinched. Then his eyes went wide. You're Xia Feng. But the refugees from Heaven Xia said you were only a half-saint, and yet here I am. Funny how that works. I glanced at where Ma and Wang had fled. Those 2 recognized my face instantly. They'd obviously studied my portrait. They bolted because if I identified them, this has nothing to do with the Imperial family, cover story would collapse. Smart. Annoyingly smart. And they'd used 7th grade speed talismans, so catching them was impossible. Whatever. I had a sect master to deal with. I flicked my Qingxue sword off my hand like throwing a dart. It screamed through the air, wrapped in purple lightning and universal law. and punched straight through the sect master's body before he could finish his last word. You. That's all he got out. One syllable. Then confetti. The remaining disciples stared at me like I was the devil himself. Which, from their perspective, fair enough. I'd walked into their holy land and deleted their entire leadership in about 20 minutes. I looted the sect master's corpse, saint weapons, techniques, mid-grade dragon crystals, the works, then spotted a terrified female disciple nearby. Take me to your treasure vault. Oh, hey, just please don't kill me. I'm not a murderer. Just a very aggressive shopper. She led me to a heavily sealed hall covered in dozens of protective barriers. Fancy stuff. Multiple layers, complex formations, probably took their sect master weeks to set up. I walked up and slapped it once with my palm. Every single barrier chain exploded simultaneously. Dozens of seals, gone. One palm. Inside. Jackpot. Saint-grade martial techniques. Saint weapons by the dozen. Cultivation materials I desperately needed. And sitting in the center like a crown jewel, an upper emperor-grade technique called the Dragon Elephant Prajna Palm. Plus over a dozen mid-grade and lower-grade techniques, and enough saint weapons to feed Qingshue's sword for months. I loaded everything into 5 or 6 massive storage rings and walked out grinning like a kid leaving a candy store. On my way out, I noticed the female disciple sneaking glances at me from the sky. I pretended not to notice. Pretty sure she was having some kind of internal debate about whether dating a mass murderer was worth it if the mass murderer was young and handsome. Answer: no. I have 10 fiancés already. The roster is closed. I floated up, drew my saber, and sent several devastating slashes across the Holy Land's buildings. Everything crumbled into dust. Mid-grade Holy Land Dragon Elephant, erased. By one guy? In half an afternoon. Dynasty count, 3 destroyed. Holy Land count, 1 destroyed. Snack breaks taken, 0. Regrets, also 0. Rushed home with my loot like a kid after Halloween. Immediately started sorting presents for mom and dad. Dad got the Soaring Dragon Dream Saber technique, the Dragon Elephant Heart Cultivation method, and a beastly Saint-grade saber that literally hummed with dragon roars. Mom got a wind spirit fan and a crowd control technique called Storm Dance that could trap enemies in hurricanes. Son, we're spoiled, Mom laughed, clutching her new fan like a treasured heirloom. Then I fed Qingshue's sword another dozen saint weapons. The blade evolved into a mid-grade saint weapon that now permanently crackled with purple lightning without me even channeling energy. My sword had become self-sustaining thunder. Qingxue would be so proud. That night, dream world. 10,000 years. Go. I split my focus between mastering the Dragon Elephant Prajna Palm, the crown jewel technique from the Holy Land, and comprehending more universal rules. The Supreme Technique absorbed the Palm Technique into its golden pages and started lecturing me like the world's most dedicated tutor. 10,000 dream years later, 3 real-world hours, I broke through to Heavenly Stage Level 1 Martial Saint. Mastered 14 additional Purple Thunder rules, bringing my total to 39. And got the Prajna Palm to minor completion, which was still devastating enough to flatten mountains. Mom's dream feedback kicked in beautifully. Earth Stage Level 5 Emperor in reality. Dad's actual cultivation was Heavenly Stage Level 5 Emperor, but his aura read as Yellow Stage Level 1 Saint. 2 parents who could genuinely defend themselves now. The stone in my chest finally dissolved. My parents were safe. Meanwhile, at the imperial capital, Ma and Wang were face down on the floor, confessing to the crown prince that their brilliant plan had spectacularly failed. He wasn't a new saint. He's Earth Stage, they blubbered. He destroyed the entire Dragon Elephant Holy Land solo. The crown prince sat there silently for several excruciating minutes. Both saints literally wet their pants waiting. Then he spoke. The intelligence officer who got the info wrong? Turn him into a human stump. Keep him alive for 1,000 years. Casual. Just casually ordering millennium-long torture over bad intel. Normal Tuesday for the imperial family. After they fled, the crown prince turned toward a shadowy corner of the ceiling. My cousin's quite talented. 23-year-old Earth Stage Saint. Even I was only Yellow Stage at that age. A genderless voice responded from the darkness. Creepy. A mid-grade Holy Land couldn't handle him? Fine. Send 10 upper-grade Holy Lands. 10 upper-grade Holy Lands. Each one containing Earth Stage and even low Heavenly Stage Saints. He was dispatching an army of saints to kill one person. The crown prince tapped his throne rhythmically, staring at the decorated main hall. Tap, tap, tap. Somewhere behind those calm eyes, calculations were running. Not just about killing me, about everything. The throne, the emperor, the future, and me? I was peacefully sleeping in Star Language City, completely unaware that 10 upper-grade holy lands were about to receive marching orders with my name on them. But hey, I was a heavenly stage saint now, with 39 universal rules, and a self-charging lightning sword. Bring it. News traveled fast. 10 upper-grade holy lands, each sending 2 Earth Stage Level 5 saints. We're heading straight for Star Language City. 20 saints total. All because the crown prince snapped his fingers and said, "Handle it." When mom and dad heard, they went pale. Son, 20 Earth Stage saints. Maybe we should run. Nope. Running is old Xia Feng behavior. New Xia Feng flies toward problems and turns them into loot. I kissed mom's forehead, told dad to guard the house, and flew several kilometers outside the city. 20 saints fighting near civilians? My property taxes would be infinite. Better to set up the battlefield somewhere expendable. I floated there, waiting. 1 hour later, 20 terrifying energy signatures appeared on my radar, approaching like angry meteors. They surrounded me instantly. Perfect circle. 20 killers. One me. This is him, some sword lady asked coldly. 23-year-old Earth Stage Saint. Killing him will be legendary. A dude literally made of fire was laughing. Then some fox lady in a revealing outfit started licking her lips and using charm techniques on me. Such a waste to kill this handsome specimen. I'd rather take him home. Oh honey, you see has spent months hitting me with master-level charm every single night. Your discount seduction is like bringing a water pistol to a tsunami. I casually pointed at the air in front of her. A purple thunderbolt slammed down, shredding her arm to ribbons. HHH. Stop screaming. 20 people talking at once is giving me a headache. I cracked my neck. All of you, come at me. Together. Stop wasting my time. 20 Earth Stage saints stared at me like I'd lost my mind. In their heads, 20 wolves versus 1 wolf. Easy math. In MY head, 20 training dummies that drop loot when defeated. Christmas morning. Some giant bear man with a 3-meter hammer lost patience first and charged, swinging at my skull like he was playing whack-a-mole. That broke the dam. 19 others followed immediately. Divine abilities, saint techniques, weapons, everything launched at once. The sky turned into a rainbow of murderous spiritual energy. The ground below cracked from shockwaves alone. I dodged, weaved, ducked, flickered through gaps between attacks like threading needles at supersonic speed. Was I showing off? Maybe. But honestly, 20 simultaneous attackers is a lot. Even for a heavenly stage saint fighting Earth stage opponents, 20 coordinated killers creates real problems. There's always a blind spot, always someone sneaking in from an angle you didn't cover. Experience matters too. These weren't random thugs. Each one had centuries of real combat under their belt. They knew how to coordinate, how to cut off escape routes, how to layer attacks so dodging one meant eating another. For the first time in a while, I was actually being pushed. Not hurt. Their attacks couldn't seriously damage me, but definitely kept busy. 20 ants can't kill an elephant. But 20 saint-level ants with centuries of experience? They can definitely make the elephant sweat. Good. I wanted a challenge. Dream World training is great, but nothing sharpens your edge like genuine life-or-death combat. Time to show these holy lands what a heavenly stage saint looks like up close. Stop dodging. Fight like a man. The fire guy screamed after missing me for the 50th time. 20 versus 1, and you want me to stand still? Are you brain damaged? He got so mad his flames grew taller. Then he trapped everyone, including his own teammates, inside a fire dimension. Flames everywhere. Ceiling fire. Floor fire. Nowhere to hide. Dodge now, punk. I sighed dramatically. Look, I was trying to be nice. Testing your strength at Earth stage level. But fine. Cards on the table. I let my real aura loose. I'm actually a heavenly stage saint. Before anyone could process that sentence, I was already swinging. Dragon, elephant, prajna palm. A phantom dragon and a colossal elephant exploded from my palm and obliterated the fire guy so completely that his fire dimension shattered like glass. One hit. Paste. Done. 19 survivors teleported backwards simultaneously, faces white as snow. When did he learn the dragon elephant technique? He destroyed that holy land days ago, the charm lady shrieked. It takes centuries to learn a saint-grade upper technique, someone else yelled. A bald monk tried rallying them. He's only heavenly stage level 1. Stay at range. Drain his energy. Cute strategy. One problem. I vanished. Appeared directly behind the sword lady using shadow shift, a teleportation technique from the dragon elephant loot. One prajna palm. She became dust. Shadow shift normally eats 20% of your spiritual energy per use. Completely impractical for combat. But with my 9 aperture exquisite hearts reducing the cost to 1/10, it cost me basically nothing. So my fighting style became teleport behind someone, prajna palm their existence away, collect their weapon, repeat. Teleport. Splat. Loot. Teleport. Splat. Loot. 5 minutes. 8 more dead. 10 total including Fire Guy and Sword Lady. The remaining 10 were losing their minds. How many times has he used that palm technique and that teleport? The charm lady's eyes looked like they'd pop out. His energy should be empty. Nobody answered because nobody had an explanation. Normal saints treat upper-grade techniques like nuclear options. 1 shot, maybe 2, then you're gasping. I was spamming them like basic attacks. There, drain his energy. Plan was officially the dumbest strategy in military history. Retreat. He's a monster. Run. The survivors scattered in 10 different directions, burning every escape technique they had. I chased down 2 more, teleported behind one, prajna palm, stabbed the other with Qingxue sword mid-flight. 12 total. The remaining 8 escaped. 2 spread out. Too fast. Not worth the chase. I landed and started my favorite post-battle activity, looting. The first girl I'd killed was unfortunately atomized. No loot. Lesson learned. After that, I deliberately held back 30% power on every prajna palm to preserve the bodies. Not out of respect, out of economics. Dead saints carry expensive stuff, but dust carries nothing. 12 saints eliminated. 8 fled. 0 scratches on me. Multiple storage rings heavier. The Crown Prince sent 20 killers. Got 12 corpses and 8 traumatized survivors running home to report that his Earth stage target was actually a heavenly stage saint who spams upper-grade techniques like breathing. I wonder what his face looks like right now. No celebration after killing 12 saints. Just worry. 10 upper-grade holy lands sent 20 Earth stage saints. I revealed I'm heavenly stage. Next time, they'd send 20 heavenly stage saints. And upper-grade holy lands actually have those. Could I fight 20 heavenly stage saints? Let's not find out. Instead of attacking the 10 holy lands like usual, I chose something radical. Patience. Upgrade first, revenge later. Character development, people. Fed all captured saint weapons to Qingxue's sword. She hit upper grade saint weapon status, finally matching my level. Then I grabbed mom and dad for the most insane dream training session yet. First 10,000 years. Completed my 49th purple thunder rule. Maximum. Done. Ready to form an emperor body and ascend to half emperor. But I didn't. Instead, I did something that would make every cultivator in existence call me a lunatic. I started learning different elemental rules. From scratch. 10,000 years. Sword rules. Just me and Qingxue's sword. No lightning, no techniques. Pure swordsmanship. I solo cleared the entire eastern wilderness with nothing but a blade. 49 sword rules. Complete. Next 10,000. Saber rules. Purple flame demon saber. Charging into simulated holy lands like a maniac. Next 10,000. Warner's demonic flute. Sound and music rules. Dying constantly. Getting back up. Charging again. Then life rules with a healing staff. Wandering the dream world. Watching simulated humans live and die. Flowers bloom and wilt. Then talisman rules. Started as the lowest apprentice in a dream world temple. Grinding from calligraphy basics upward for 10,000 years. Then alchemy. Then charm. Then ice. Then fire. 100,000 dream years. 10 complete elemental paths. 490 total rules. All mastered to perfection. Normal geniuses master maybe 3 paths. 147 rules. Before attempting emperor body formation. The absolute craziest prodigies in history maxed at 5 paths. 245 rules. And even they were considered suicidal for making the breakthrough exponentially harder. I did 10. 490 rules. Double the supposed impossible maximum. Every single person who's ever cultivated would look at my choices and scream, "What are you doing?" Here's what they don't understand. More rules means harder emperor body formation, yes. But if you succeed, you become absolutely, unconditionally, hilariously invincible at your level. Same realm combat becomes a joke. And I have one advantage nobody else has: infinite dream time to figure it out. When I woke up, I clenched my fist and the space inside my palm shattered like glass. Not from a technique, just from squeezing my hand. Heavenly Stage Level 9 Saint. 490 elemental rules. Capable of challenging a half-emperor. The supreme technique's golden pages floated beside me, but they'd hit their ceiling too. The partial copy only supported up to Heavenly Stage Level 9 Saint. Beyond that, I was on my own. I thought about switching cultivation methods for about 2 seconds, then shook my head. The supreme technique accelerates everything: dream training, energy absorption, comprehension speed. Replacing it would be like downgrading from a supercomputer to an abacus. I'd find the remaining pages, or figure it out myself. Standing on the city wall, 490 universal rules humming inside me, I stared toward the horizon. Somewhere out there, 10 holy lands were planning round 2. The crown prince was scheming. The emperor was meditating. And 10 holy maidens were waiting. Time to become an emperor. The supreme technique's partial copy maxed out at Heavenly Stage Level 9 Saint. But the complete version? Probably broken beyond imagination. I'd find the remaining pages later. Right now, I had 10 holy lands to demolish. Mom and Dad walked out behind me, and honestly, seeing them radiating yellow Stage Level 9 Saint energy almost made me tear up. 7 dream months ago, they were martial kings hiding in a tiny city. Now they're both saints. Our entire family went from, "Please don't hurt us," to, "Try it and see what happens." "Go get him, son," Dad grinned. When they find out the rebel bloodline produced 3 saints, those imperial idiots won't sleep for a month. Hug them both. Shot into the sky. Direction, northwest. Target, 10 upper-grade holy lands about to have the worst day of their collective existence. Meanwhile, those 10 holy lands had spent the past month doing what bureaucracies do best: having meetings. At Xuanwu platform, all 10 sect masters sat around a round table, arguing about how to kill me efficiently. "This kid keeps getting stronger," the 8 Extremes sect master complained. Half Saint when he killed the dynasties. Earth Stage when he killed Dragon Elephant. Heavenly Stage when he killed our people. "He's always one step ahead," the Charm sect master. White Yenran, some seductive fox lady whose student I'd zapped earlier, purred. "Getting cold feet? This is the Crown Prince's order. I'm analyzing, not retreating. Mind your own business." Those two apparently hated each other. Fun. Some creepy pale guy with white hair chimed in. "He's 23. Even if he's a genius, he can't be half-emperor or emperor. Heavenly Stage Saint is probably his ceiling." Everyone chuckled at the absurdity of a 23-year-old emperor. That would require a divine body, something that appears once every million years. Impossible in the Great Xia Empire. Only the legendary God Realm produces those. Heh. If only they knew about the Dream Pearl. The Myriad Tombs sect master, a walking corpse with green fire for eyes, settled the debate. "We all go." Personally, 10 Heavenly Stage Saints. Together, he cannot escape. Everyone agreed. Not because they respected me, because they were terrified of what the Crown Prince would do if they failed again. 10 sect masters, all Heavenly Stage Level 5 or 6 saints, coming for me simultaneously. Their disciples cheered. "Bring back the rebel's head." Very dramatic. Very confident. Very, very wrong about what they were walking into. See, they spent a month planning, debating, gathering intelligence, having meetings about meetings. I spent that same month doing 100,000 dream years of cultivation, mastering 490 universal rules across 10 elemental paths, reaching Heavenly Stage Level 9, and becoming capable of challenging a half-emperor. They think my ceiling is Heavenly Stage Level 1. I'm Level 9 with 10 times the rules any saint in history has ever possessed. 10 sect masters are flying toward me right now, expecting a difficult but manageable fight. What they're actually flying toward is the most over-prepared, over-leveled, rule-saturated cultivator who has ever existed in this empire. Should have had more meetings, boys. I showed up to their little meeting like an uninvited guest at a dinner party. Except my invitation was a sky full of thunder dragons. The 10 sect masters were sitting around their fancy table, literally planning my assassination, when my storm clouds rolled in and blocked out the sun. Lightning crackling, phantom dragons and elephants roaring inside the clouds. The whole dramatic entrance package. Who dares? Some creepy pale guy shouted upward. 10 upper-grade Holy Land Masters are here. State your business or leave. I stepped out of the clouds. Blue robes, wind in my hair, maximum cool guy energy. Then I released my aura. Heavenly stage. Level 9. Every single disciple they brought got flattened. Face first into the ground. Couldn't even lift their heads. Just instant horizontal. Heavenly stage 9. Who are you? You're literally planning to invade my city and kill me. And you're asking who I am. The realization hit them like a truck. 10 faces cycling through confusion, shock, then forced bravado. He's an idiot. Coming here when all 10 of us are together. His ceiling is obviously heavenly stage. We can take him. They convinced themselves I was stupid, which was adorable. All 10 attacked simultaneously. Fire spears, shadow blades, death techniques, the whole buffet of violence. Each attack individually stronger than the 20 Earth stage saints combined from last time. I pulled out Qingshua's sword and started deflecting. Every single attack bounced off my blade like rain off an umbrella. Pure swordsmanship. 490 rules of comprehension channeled through 49 perfected sword rules. His sword technique is incredible. He must specialize in sword rules. The Cloud Sword Master gasped. Oh buddy, you have no idea what's coming. I sheathed my sword, snapped my fingers. Thousands of purple thunderbolts rained from the sky like angry gods throwing javelins. The 10 masters scrambled to block, completely abandoning their offensive. He also mastered lightning rules, dual cultivation. Before they recovered, I pulled out the purple flame demon saber. Cloud elephant heavenly might slash. 10 simultaneous blade waves, 1 per customer. Lightning from above. Saber waves from the front. They were drowning. Then I switched to the demonic flute. That eerie melody crawled into their brains. Their movements slowed. Their eyelids drooped. The charm lady's seduction resistance was 0 against sound-based attacks. Boom. Lightning struck the 8 Extremes Master and Cloud Sword Master while they were dazed. Blood everywhere. Clothes shredded. Before the others recovered, 7th grade explosive talismans materialized around 3 more masters. Not pre-made talismans. Talismans I created from pure spiritual energy using my perfected talisman rules. Boom, boom, boom. 3 more masters sent flying, bleeding, screaming. Sword rules. Lightning rules. Saber rules. Sound rules. Talisman rules. 5 different elemental paths. Exposed in under 2 minutes. And I had 5 more they hadn't seen yet. The look on their faces? Priceless. They came here expecting one-trick pony. Instead, they got a one-man circus of destruction with 10 different acts. And the show was just getting started. Impossible. He has 5 elemental rules, the tomb guy shrieked. Coming from a corpse who literally crawled out of his own coffin, that meant something. They were all screaming about how I'd ruined my path to Emperor by mastering too many elements. Cute theory. Wrong, but cute. Less talking, more surviving, I suggested helpfully. I pulled out a green life staff and cast life cage on 2 of them simultaneously. Green chains erupted from the ground and trapped the charm lady and the dragon blood master inside glowing prisons. They attacked the cages frantically, barely made them wobble. Meanwhile, their life force was being slowly drained away. Was it as fast as Qingshua's version? Honestly, no. She'd drained Yunshan's 5,000 years in minutes. My version needed about 5 days per saint. But hey, I'd mastered life rules through pure comprehension without formal training. Trapping 2 heavenly stage saints while fighting 8 others? Pretty good for self-taught. Free them, someone screamed. No, then the charm lady, White Yin Ran, actually started begging. Please, let me go? I'll do anything. I looked at her. My eyes flashed silver. And I hit her with her own specialty. Charm rules. 49 of them. Perfected. Her expression went blank. Then dreamy. Then she sat down inside her own death cage, staring at me like I was the most beautiful thing she'd ever seen, completely forgetting she was actively dying. He's so handsome, she whispered, smiling like a lovesick teenager. A heavenly stage level 5 saint. tens of thousands of years old, master of seduction, and I charmed her, with her own element, like stealing a thief's wallet. How many rules does this monster know? Someone screamed. The remaining 8 were genuinely panicking now. Sword, lightning, saber, sound, talisman, life, and charm. 7 elements revealed. They were terrified to find out what else I had. But the 8 extremes master rallied them. If we run, he'll hunt us individually. Our only chance is together. Everything you've got. Now, he was right, and they knew it. We were past the point of negotiation approximately 12 dead saints ago. Cloud Sword Master charged first, screaming his ultimate technique. Spiritual energy around me solidified into thousands of swords, all pointing at my face. Impressive density. Serious killing power. Then Tomb Grandpa clapped his hands, and the sky went dark. 9 ancient coffins materialized overhead, lids creaking open, all aimed at me. Death energy poured from the ground. The entire platform became a horror movie set. Between the infinite swords and the nightmare coffins, I was standing in the middle of what should have been an inescapable kill zone. Should have been. I cracked my neck and smiled. 7 elements shone. 3 still hidden. 490 rules humming inside me like a symphony of destruction. These guys were throwing their absolute best at me. Ultimate techniques they'd spent millennia perfecting. And I was genuinely enjoying myself. They threw everything. Every ultimate technique. Every secret move they'd been saving for decades. The Dragon Blood guy actually broke out of my life cage by transforming into a half-dragon monster, 10 times stronger, and charged at me like a scaly freight train. Respect for the effort. Still gonna die, but respect. 8 extremes master bit his own arm open, sprayed blood into the air, and summoned hundreds of massive black chains that wrapped around my entire body. Arms, legs, torso, completely locked down. Then all 9 attacked simultaneously. Ultimate moves stacked on ultimate moves. Space itself was shattering around me. I'll admit, if I only had 49 rules like a normal saint, I'd be dead right now. Good thing I'm not normal. Endless fire. Infinite ice. 2 words each. That's all it took. The world split in half. My right side erupted into an inferno, ground melting into lava. The tomb guy's creepy coffins exploding like popcorn. My left side flash froze into an Arctic wasteland. The 8 extremes and Cloud Sword Masters, already wounded, turned into ice sculptures mid-scream. Fire and ice domains merged, simultaneously burning and freezing 9 saints at once. Their attacks? Dissolved. Their domains? Overwritten. Every single one of them was screaming, faces twisted between being cooked alive and frozen solid. The charm lady snapped out of my earlier spell from the sheer pain. Lucky her. She got to experience the suffering consciously. 9 rules? You'll never become emperor, the tomb corpse wheezed, pointing at me with a burnt stick finger. You ruined yourself. 8 extremes laughed while dying. No one with 9 elemental paths can form an emperor body. They were so happy about my mistake that they were literally laughing on their deathbeds. Who said 9? I pulled out a bottle of 7th grade pills and started crunching them like popcorn. 15 pills. 1 mouthful. Those are 7th grade pills? You're eating them like candy. Made them myself. Want some? Dead silence. The realization hit them like a physical blow. If I could casually produce 7th grade pills, that meant I'd mastered alchemy rules too. T10 elemental paths. The tomb guy stammered. 490 rules. Nobody called me stupid anymore. Nobody laughed about my ruined emperor path. Because someone who masters 10 complete elemental paths isn't an idiot. There's something that's never existed before. What? Are you? The Dragon Blood Master asked weakly. The guy sending you to the afterlife, I said. Pro tip for your next reincarnation. Don't be someone else's attack dog. Dying for another person's grudge is a terrible deal. Then I finished them off. Every single one. 10 upper grade Holy Land Masters. The most powerful force the Crown Prince could deploy without exposing himself. Erased from existence because they chose the wrong side. I looted the battlefield methodically. Storage rings, saint weapons, techniques, everything worth taking. 490 rules. 10 dead sect masters. 0 regrets. The Crown Prince was running out of pawns. I roasted them. Literally. Endless fire, engulfing all 10 sect masters while I simultaneously hammered their minds with spiritual attacks. They crumbled, bodies first, then sanity, then their saint spirits dissolved into ash. The charm Lady White Yanran actually knelt and offered to become my personal cultivation partner. Threw in her entire sect as a bonus. Desperate bargain bin seduction from a woman I'd already charmed with her own technique 5 minutes ago. Hard pass. I've got 10 fiancés already. The roster's closed. She burned with the rest. Then came my favorite part, shopping. I mapped the most efficient route through all 10 holy lands, north to south, and systematically emptied every single treasury. 8 extremes first, then the rest, one after another like a particularly violent grocery run. 3 days later, I had enough saint weapons, techniques, and dragon crystals to make a small nation weep with jealousy. Meanwhile, in the imperial capital, my cousin was having a bad day. The crown prince, Xia Naiwu, proud owner of my grandfather's stolen emperor body, sat in his fancy palace while his shadow spy delivered the news. All 10 upper-grade holy lands. Destroyed. By Xiaofeng. Alone, he mastered 10 elemental paths. 490 rules total. His combat power rivals a half-emperor. I would have paid to see his face. The man who'd been casually ordering my assassination like it was takeout delivery was finally realizing the delivery guy bites back. 10 elemental paths? Is my nephew insane? His shadow tried analyzing my strategy, suggesting I chose breadth over depth because forming an emperor body takes too long. The crown prince shut him down immediately. Idiot. He has the innate emperor body. Forming an emperor body is easy for him. He chose this path deliberately. Then something interesting happened. The crown prince started listing my 10 elements: sword, saber, lightning, fire, ice, life, sound, charm, talisman, alchemy. Notice anything? He asked his shadow. The shadow thought. Then his jaw dropped. Those are the 10 elements of the 10 extreme grade holy lands. My 10 elements match the specialties of the 10 holy lands where my fiancés lived. Sword for Qingxue. Lightning for Yue. Charm for Xia. Life for Qingxue. Sound for Wanner. I didn't plan that consciously. I'd learned each element using the gifts and weapons my girls left me. But from the outside, it looked like a declaration of war against the entire Holy Land system. The Crown Prince made his decision. No more proxies. No more Holy Lands. No more games. Send Liao Chongfei. His shadow literally stopped breathing. Because Liao Chongfei wasn't a saint. He was a martial emperor. One of the 24 imperial guardians of the Lingxiao Pavilion, the Empire's ultimate weapons. Each one capable of conquering entire nations solo. Liao Chongfei, Yellow Stage Level 9 Emperor. Ranked 17th among 24 world-ending monsters. My cousin just sent a nuclear missile to kill a mosquito. Except this mosquito had 490 universal rules, a self-upgrading dream dimension, and absolutely zero intention of dying quietly. A martial emperor was coming for me. Time to take another nap. I didn't know any of this was happening. I was busy looting 10 holy lands like a very efficient burglar. But behind the scenes, my dear cousin was escalating things to absolutely insane levels. See, the Crown Prince tried mid-grade holy lands. I ate them. He tried upper-grade holy lands. I ate those too. 20 saints, then 10 sect masters, all gone. So naturally, his next logical step was send a martial emperor. Not just any emperor. One of the 24 imperial guardians from the Lingxiao Pavilion, the Empire's ultimate weapons. These guys aren't politicians or figureheads. They're planet-level threats that the Empire keeps locked in a giant tower like human nuclear warheads. The tower has 24 floors. Bottom 12 are called Flying Generals. They handle internal problems. Top 12 are Dragon Generals. They fight other empires. And here's the fun historical detail that makes my blood boil. 25 years ago, the bottom 12 Flying Generals were the ones sent to destroy Grandpa's dynasty. 12 martial emperors versus one crippled ex-crown prince. They shattered his cultivation, destroyed his dantian, and left him as a martial king. Then watched while he dragged his broken body to the most forgotten corner of the empire to die. Now my cousin was sending one of those same generals after me. Liao Chongfei, 7th Flying General. Yellow Stage Level 9 Martial Emperor. A scarred, cold-eyed killing machine who carried a sword bigger than most people. He stood on his tower floor, staring at the horizon, and said the most chilling thing. 25 years later, And I'm doing the same job again. Same job. He was there when they broke Grandpa, and now he was coming for the grandson. The shadow spy briefed him on everything. How I kept getting stronger, how every force sent against me got destroyed, how I'd mastered 10 elemental paths with 490 rules. Liao Changfei listened to all of it and basically shrugged. A heavenly stage level 9 saint with half-emperor combat power? Impressive for a kid. But emperor is emperor. He can't have broken through at 23. He grabbed his massive sword and launched himself northwest. A red comet streaking across the sky, visible to the entire capital city. The whole city erupted with gossip. A flying general deployed? Who's the target? That's the 7th general. What happened? He's heading northwest. Isn't that where that rebel kid? Shut up. Don't say that name unless you want to disappear. The crown prince was gambling big. Using an imperial guardian without the emperor's permission was the kind of move that could backfire spectacularly. The old monsters in the main palace were mostly in closed cultivation, which gave him a window, but if they found out? 1 month of travel time. That's what Liao Changfei estimated. 1 month before a genuine martial emperor arrived at my doorstep. A being who could solo entire nations. Who helped cripple my grandfather. Who viewed me as an errand, an annoying chore between naps. 1 month. Good thing I had a dream pearl that could give me 10,000 years per night. The question was, could I become an emperor in 30 naps? After destroying 10 holy lands, I became the hottest celebrity in the entire northwestern region overnight. Everybody wanted a piece of me. And by piece, I mean they wanted to shove expensive gifts into my hands and pray I'd remember their names. Holy Land Vice Masters, Grand Elders, important people from dozens of organizations, all showing up at Star Language City carrying bags of treasures like it was my birthday. Saint weapons, rare herbs, cultivation materials. The gifts wouldn't stop coming. Their logic was simple. Befriend the guy who just solo killed 10 sect masters, and nobody will ever mess with you again. Smart, honestly. Annoying, but smart. Dad handled the hosting duties like a natural. Smiling, pouring tea, trading war stories with people who would have spat on us 6 months ago. We'd discussed this beforehand. I told him to accept everything guilt-free. These holy lands monopolize cultivation resources while ordinary people starve for scraps. Our city's residents could barely reach Marshal King because there was nothing to train with. Taking gifts from organizations that hoard mountains of wealth? That's not greed. That's redistribution. The city gates stayed open for days. Over 100 martial emperors passed through, more than Star Language City had seen in its entire history combined. And every single one was on their best behavior. Smiling at shopkeepers. Being polite to street vendors. A martial emperor saying, please, and thank you, to a noodle seller. My citizens were going to talk about this for generations. Today's banquet was the big one. 10+ upper-grade Holy Land masters seated in our courtyard, with dozens of mid-grade representatives hovering at the edges, too intimidated to even speak. What a genius. A half-emperor at 23. Even the God Realm would be impressed. One sect master gushed, face red from wine and shamelessness. Like father, like son. Both saints in under a century. Incredible talent, another one added. Dad played along beautifully, clinking glasses, laughing at terrible jokes, radiating, humble host, energy. I watched quietly, thinking about how none of these people existed when we needed help. When Yunshan attacked. When the dynasties came. When we were trash. Now suddenly we're everybody's best friend. Strength really is everything in this world. 2 hours of drinking and flattery. Some sect masters started making exit excuses. Mission accomplished, relationship established, time to leave on a high note. Then the courtyard doors burst open. Disciples from every visiting holy land came stampeding in, faces white as ghosts, bodies shaking, finding their respective masters and whispering something urgent. The transformation was instant. Every sect master's expression went from, best friends forever, to, I need to leave immediately, in about 2 seconds. Their eyes, which had been warm and admiring moments ago, suddenly looked at me with pure, undiluted terror. They froze, forgot to breathe, then simultaneously erupted. Leave. Now. Get out. One flew. Then another. Then all of them, shooting into the sky like rockets, not even bothering with goodbye. No polite excuses. No, lovely evening. Not even eye contact. 30 seconds ago, what an honor to attend this banquet. Now, supersonic fleeing Dad and I stood in our suddenly empty courtyard, surrounded by abandoned wine cups. Something very, very bad was coming. And apparently, everyone except us already knew what it was. 5 breaths. That's how long it took for every single guest to evaporate from our courtyard. One moment. Wine, laughter. Oh, what an honor to be here. Next moment. Hundreds of streaks of light rocketing into the sky like someone yelled, "Free money," in the opposite direction. I stepped outside and grabbed the first messenger disciple I could find. Poor kid saw my face and instantly turned into a crying, trembling puddle of snot. "Please don't kill me." "Nobody's killing you." "What message are you carrying?" His sect master, some jade dragon guy, jumped in, fake yelling at his own disciple for being rude to Lord Xia, clearly terrified-eyed. Blame him somehow. Then the kid blurted it out between sobs. The 7th Flying General of the Lingxiao Pavilion, Liao Chongfei, is heading straight for Star Language City. Yellow Stage Level 9 Martial Emperor. He's not hiding his killing intent at all. The courtyard went nuclear. Flying General? Martial Emperor. The Lingxiao Pavilion sent someone for him. Wait, Xiaofeng. Surname Xi. Rebel bloodline. Oh and oh, one sect master screamed, "Run!" and launched himself skyward. Others followed, making increasingly ridiculous excuses on their way out. "Just remembered I have urgent business. My wife is having a baby. Gotta go." The Jade Dragon sect master didn't even bother with excuses. He slapped a speed talisman on his feet and turned into a beam of light so fast his own disciple got left behind, crying, "Master, wait for me." Within minutes, our courtyard went from festive banquet to abandoned crime scene. Empty cups everywhere. Chairs knocked over. The smell of betrayal lingering in the air. But I wasn't thinking about them. My brain was stuck on 2 words: Martial Emperor. A real one, not a half-emperor. Not someone with emperor-level combat power. An actual, genuine, Yellow Stage Level 9 Martial Emperor from the Lingxiao Pavilion. The 24 strongest weapons the Empire possesses. These guys can solo entire nations. They can destroy extreme-grade holy lands. One of them carries more destructive power than everything I've ever fought combined. And the gap between us? I'm a Heavenly Stage Level 9 Saint with half-Emperor combat power. He's a Level 9 Emperor. That's like comparing a river to the ocean. Same element, completely different scale. Dad's reaction scared me more than the news itself. His face went white. His hands shook. That old helplessness from 25 years ago came flooding back. The feeling of being powerless while 12 of these same generals destroyed everything Grandpa built. Xia Naiwu is insane. Dad slammed his fist into a flower bed, shattering it. Our ancestors specifically forbid the imperial family from killing bloodlines that produced emperor bodies. It's the oldest rule, and he's breaking it anyway. I stood there, fists clenched, mind racing. A martial emperor was coming. The same organization that broke my grandfather. Coming to finish the job on his grandson. 1 month until arrival. I had the dream pearl. 10,000 years per night. 490 rules already mastered. The question wasn't whether to fight or run. The question was, could I become something that even a martial emperor would fear? 30 nights. 300,000 dream years. Let's find out. Dad, I'd never seen him this shaken. But I couldn't afford to panic too. One of us had to keep it together, and today that job was mine. We still have time, right? However fast that emperor flies, I've got thousands of dream years before he arrives. If I break through to emperor myself, we win. Dad stared at me. I could see 25 years of trauma behind his eyes, watching 12 of these same generals destroy everything Grandpa built. You really think you can become a martial emperor before he gets here? I grinned. When has sleeping ever let me down? That got him. He rubbed my head like I was still 5 years old, laughed, and said, "Fine. Let's gamble everything on your naps." Again, meanwhile, every holy land that had been kissing our feet immediately released public statements. We have no relationship with the Xia family. Never met them. Who's Xiaofeng? Never heard of him. Some even sent gifts to the crown prince, apologizing for accidentally being in the same zip code as me. Spineless, but understandable. Nobody wants to be nearby when a martial emperor drops a nuke. I dove into dream training like my life depended on it. Because it literally did. 30,000 dream years passed. My emperor body formation, 20% complete. 20%. Here's what nobody knew. I don't actually have the innate emperor body. Everyone assumes I do because of my bloodline. But I'm just a purple thunder body with supreme talent and a magic sleeping pearl. Without the innate emperor body, forming an emperor body was brutally difficult, especially with 490 rules making it exponentially harder. 50,000 years. 65%. Getting closer, but time was running out. I was so stressed, I nearly went berserk twice during cultivation. Almost destroyed my own meridians from pushing too hard. Had to waste precious time healing, hiding my injuries from mom and dad so they wouldn't worry. They'd broken through to Earth stage saints themselves. Incredible progress, completely useless against a martial emperor. Like bringing upgraded water pistols to fight a volcano. Dad estimated 15 days total travel time from the capital. We'd used 10 already. 5 days left. 50,000 more dream years. Could I do it? Every northern holy land had already written my obituary. Xiao Feng, talented kid, died young. Shouldn't have poked the empire. The consensus was unanimous. Nobody survives a Lingxiao pavilion flying general. And Liao Changfei himself? He was crossing the empire like a red comet. His emperor pressure so overwhelming that entire cities trembled as he passed overhead. People stared at his trail in the sky, mouths open, watching death fly by. Stay calm. Stay calm, I whispered to myself, eyes bloodshot, sweat pouring, forcing spiritual energy into my forming emperor body one agonizing thread at a time. 65%. 35 to go. 5 days left. Maybe 50,000 dream years. The math was tight. And somewhere out there, a scarred man with a giant sword was getting closer every second, carrying a simple order: erase the rebel bloodline. The same order. The same target family. 25 years later. Different generation. Same fight. Except this time, the grandson fights back. 90,000 dream years. Emperor body at 80%. Every second felt like swallowing glass while juggling chainsaws. 100,000 years. Mom hit Heavenly Stage Level 1 Saint. Dad reached Heavenly Stage Level 9 with 45 rules. And me? I pushed, strained, nearly exploded my own meridians twice, burned through 7-grade pills like breath mints, and finally, Emperor body, 100%. Half Emperor. I looked at my golden glowing bones, my power-saturated flesh, the cosmic symbols flickering in my eyes. A breakthrough that would make anyone else celebrate for centuries. I felt nothing, because half Emperor was an emperor, and the deadline had arrived. I woke up, looked out the window. The sun was wrong, stuck halfway up the sky, dim and blood red, like the universe itself was holding its breath. And there, standing on our city gate like a god visiting mortals, was Liao Changfei, giant sword planted beside him, face scarred, eyes dead. The pressure radiating off him made every citizen in the city physically unable to look up. Come out. 2 words. They hit the entire city like an earthquake. I floated up with mom and dad flanking me. 3 against 1. 3 saints and a half emperor versus a real emperor. The math wasn't good. Liao Changfei scanned us casually. Half emperor. Heavenly stage saints. Not bad for 25 years. Were you hiding this whole time? Dad stepped forward. Our family's punishment is over. Why are you here? Because you couldn't stay quiet. Liao shrugged. Should have stayed invisible in your little trash city. Instead, your kids started destroying dynasties and holy lands. Now the crown prince noticed. This violates the ancestral rules. The imperial family cannot kill bloodlines that produced emperor bodies. Not my problem. I follow the crown prince. He handles the politics. Liao raised his sword. Last chance. Kill yourselves. I'll make it painless. In your dreams. I exploded with half-emperor pressure. Suit yourself, he swung. 9 spiritual dragons wrapped around his blade. The air itself screamed. Dragon, elephant, prajna palm. I launched everything. Half-emperor power, 9 aperture hearts amplification, for 190 rules of comprehension, into 1 attack. My absolute maximum. Mom and dad attacked simultaneously from the sides. Saber and wind fan, both carrying saint-level divine abilities. Our combined assault met his single sword swing in midair. Boom. City walls shattered. The shockwave leveled buildings for miles. I went flying backwards, coughing a waterfall of blood. My spiritual energy went haywire. Chaotic, violent, completely disrupted. From one attack, one casual swing. How? I whispered. He was already standing on my back, foot pressing me into the ground. The same position those generals used on Grandpa 25 years ago. You survived my 9 heavens dragon slash. Impressive. Actually, that should have killed you outright. History repeating itself. Same humiliation. Same boot on a Xia family member's spine. Get off my son. Dad charged in, eyes crimson, zero regard for his own life. A heavenly stage level 9, saint rushing a level 9 emperor. Suicide by every calculation. But that's my dad. The man who bluffed 3 emperors with fake aura, who watched his father die and swore it wouldn't happen again. Except this time, the enemy was real, and our bluff had run out. One word, one wave of his arm. A tornado of invisible blades sent Dad crashing through a city wall, his body sliced open in dozens of places, bleeding everywhere. Honey, Mom flew to him immediately, shoving healing pills into his mouth. Dad coughed up black blood, but stabilized. Barely. Dad? I was shaking with rage under this psycho's boot. He looked down at me and smiled. Worry about yourself, kid. He pressed harder. Blood erupted from my mouth. My organs felt like they were in a blender. Great talent, honestly. Half-emperor at 23. Top tier even for the whole empire. He raised his sword over my head. Too bad you were born in the wrong era. 30 years earlier? Maybe the empire would have been yours. But the crown prince owns the future now. So just die quietly. His eyes went psychotic. Battlefield killer mode activated. The sword came screaming down toward my skull. The empire can go screw itself. You hurt my dad, so now you die. Something exploded inside me. A force so violent it actually made a yellow stage level 9 emperor stumble. He lost balance for half a second. That was enough. I ripped myself off the ground, grabbed my own dantian, and crushed one of my exquisite hearts. The stored spiritual energy detonated through my body like a bomb. Temporary power surge. Massive, but short-lived. 9 aperture exquisite heart. Liao's eyes went wide. He recognized Grandpa's imperial technique instantly. Greed flickered across his face before discipline squashed it. Stealing a Xia family heirloom technique would get even him killed. Clever trick. Destroying your own heart for a power boost. But what good does it do? I didn't answer. I moved. Purple thunder's star-crushing kick. My leg, wrapped in screaming purple lightning, whipped toward his neck with everything I had. A technique I'd invented during my lightning rule training. Saint grade. Mid-tier. Absolutely devastating. For the first time, Liao Chongfei looked serious. He dodged. Barely. Using some ridiculous emperor speed footwork. Heaven's execution. Earth's annihilation. Giant phantom sword from above. Deathblades from below. Both exponentially stronger than my emperor versions. Half-emperor power made them genuinely terrifying. Liao grunted, swung his massive sword through the ground blades, scattering them like leaves, then pointed his blade skyward and launched his own phantom sword to intercept mine. 2 giant swords collided overhead. The impact created an actual black hole above Star Language City. Mom and Dad desperately projected barriers around the entire city while coughing blood and popping healing pills nonstop. 3 breaths later, my phantom sword shattered. Damn it, the borrowed energy was almost gone. No choice. I crushed my second exquisite heart. Thunder Judgment. Dragon Elephant Prajnapalm. Cloud Elephant Heavenly Might Slash. Every technique I knew, fired simultaneously. A tsunami of attacks washing over Liao Chongfei. He blocked them all, one by one, calmly, like swatting flies with slightly more effort than usual. The gap between us can't be closed with tricks, kid. He kicked me so hard I flew backwards like a cannonball, crashing through the sky. 2 exquisite hearts destroyed. 1 remaining. Body breaking. Blood everywhere. And Liao Chongfei wasn't even breathing hard. This was the difference between half-emperor and real emperor. Not a gap. An abyss. I was getting absolutely demolished. Liao Chongfei had some teleportation technique and kept blinking behind me, kicking me across the sky like a soccer ball. Wham, forward. Wham, backward. Wham, sideways. I was a human pinball. Thank God for my emperor body, because without it, I'd be salsa by now. I crushed my last exquisite heart, third and final, dumped everything into one massive dragon elephant Prajnapalm, and launched it at his stupid scarred face. He literally swatted it away with a blood moon sword technique. then beat me down again. 3 exquisite hearts, gone. Emergency power reserves, empty. Body, broken. Options, 0. Mom was crying, grabbing Dad's arm. Dio something. He's going to die. Then Dad remembered something. He fumbled through his storage ring and pulled out a jade slip. The same jade slip Grandpa gave him decades ago. The break in case of extinction button that Dad had almost used like 15 times throughout this story. This is it. True life or death moment. No more saving it. He crushed it. 1 second. 3 seconds. 5 seconds. Nothing happened. Liao Changfei laughed. Wow, dramatic scream and everything. Got my hopes up for nothing. Dad's face crumbled. No, this was Father's last resort. Why isn't it? Then the sky broke. A massive purple void ripped open, thousands of meters wide, and something inside it radiated power so terrifying that even Liao Changfei's smug grin evaporated instantly. Emperor-level energy, but stronger than Liao's. Several times stronger. A single sound wave rolled out of the void, an ancient Dao tone that locked onto Liao Changfei like a guided missile. It hit him before he could even think about dodging and sent him flying hundreds of meters, clothes shredded, bleeding. One sound made a level 9 Emperor bleed. I'd spent an entire fight barely scratching this guy's outfit. What I asked that? Liao screamed, wiping blood from his mouth. Dad and Mom flew to my side, shoving healing pills into me. Son, your grandfather's backup worked. We're saved. Liao charged back, sword raised, ready to kill all 3 of us in one swing. A dead man's tricks mean nothing. Then a figure exploded out of the purple void. An old man carrying a massive bronze cauldron, who materialized next to Liao and smashed the cauldron against his sword so hard the Emperor went pinwheeling across the horizon. Dad looked at the old man's face and completely fell apart. Dad, you're alive? But I buried you. 25 years ago. I carried your body. Mom collapsed too, grabbing the old man, sobbing uncontrollably. That was a decoy puppet, Grandpa said softly, patting their heads. Just a little trick to fool Xia Tianming. I'm sorry I left you alone all these years, my grandfather. Xia Tianming, the former crown prince, the man whose emperor body was stolen, the man I thought died broken and alone in this tiny city. Alive. He looked at me. I looked at him. The grandfather I'd never met. The legend whose shadow I'd been chasing. Standing right in front of me, casually slapping martial emperors with a cooking pot. Grandpa's here. First time meeting my grandfather. Looking into his eyes, I felt something I couldn't explain. Instant connection, instant recognition. Like my blood was saying, yeah, that's family. Grandpa. 20-something and already half emperor. That's my grandson. He was crying and laughing simultaneously, looking at me like I was the best thing that ever happened. Liao Changfei stabilized midair, and I watched his cocky expression crack when he realized who'd just slapped him across the sky. Xia Tianming, the former #1 warrior of the entire empire. But then Liao sensed Grandpa's actual power level. Yellow stage level 1 emperor? Ha ha. His fear vanished instantly. Your Dantian was shattered. We watched it happen. You're a miracle for even reaching emperor again. But level 1? Against MY level 9, Dad tried volunteering for a suicide mission, literally wanted to self-destruct to buy us escape time. Grandpa grabbed his arm mid-launch. Boy, did you seriously think your old man can't handle one Liao Changfei? He looked up at the Emperor with the most disrespectful expression I've ever witnessed. Like Liao was a particularly unimpressive bug. Level 9? So what? Watch me kill him anyway. Then Grandpa turned to me, gently rubbed my head, and said, You're half Emperor now. Watching a real Emperor fight will help your breakthrough. Stay close. I attack. You spot his weaknesses. I nodded. We floated up together, grandfather and grandson, side by side, facing a level 9 Emperor. Extinction finger. Grandpa moved first. The blood moon in the sky started shaking, and a colossal finger descended from the heavens, radiating absolute destruction. His 4th divine ability, amplified by the 9 aperture exquisite hearts. Wait, Grandpa also knew the 9 aperture technique. Of course he did. It's our family heirloom. Liao charged the finger head-on, screaming like a maniac, and his massive sword actually shattered Grandpa's attack. The divine finger crumbled and broke apart. Ha! You are just a level 1. The legendary war god is nothing now. Liao's fear completely evaporated. He split into multiple afterimages and rushed us with murderous speed. Dad and Mom nearly had heart attacks watching from below. But Grandpa? He smiled. Xiao Feng, remember this. Beating someone stronger isn't always about raw power. Then he did something incredible. That giant purple cauldron floating above his head. He expanded it 100 times. It became absolutely massive, big enough to swallow a mountain.